Hey guys, Jay! Welcome back to the channel. So guys, this is Thundercats Lair. We're back, everybody. We are back. And wow, what what a time it's been. Um, so yeah, some of you might know I was helping to I was helping with a whole bunch of Master Universe stuff over the past couple of weeks. Actually no, let's be perfectly honest. I've been helping with a whole bunch of Master Universe stuff for the past couple of months. I mean, it's been 6 months of planning and doing so many different things for like conventions and the movie, getting ready for that, and so many different things which have been uh, basically it's been a celebration for Master Universe ever since last year. Last year has been just a huge freaking Master Universe explosion. Last couple of years has really been building up to this, and but thanks to the movie, it really has made everything's changed. Everything has changed. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But of course, we are here for Thundercats Lair, and welcome everybody for this wonderful new show. It's been a while since we've done a live stream, and my good friend JP and myself are excited to be back. We're just waiting for JP to pop in. He had a couple more things to do just before the show, but we have a lot of great topics tonight. Very much Thundercats related, but so many things have been up in the air, and a lot of questions have happened recently about the newest announcements of Thundercats, particularly in my opinion. If you guys watch the movie, there's actually Thundercats in the Masters Universe movie. Spoiler ahead, but it actually is true. There's actually Thundercats in the Masters Universe movie. There's a whole bunch of toys, actually a whole bunch of toys in the Thundercats movie. So it's going to be freaking crazy when we start dissecting it and talking all about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm waiting on JP. It doesn't seem like he's popping in. I'm not really sure what's going on. But he'll be here any minute now, I'm pretty sure. So let's say hi to the chat. First and foremost, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this afternoon, and of course this evening actually, and talking everything Thundercats. We do really love the fact that you guys have wanted to hang out with us and like talk about Thundercats. It really is. Aside from Master Universe, it is of course my number two, just very very close, but it is my number two. Thundercats is my number two all-time cartoon property of all time. It's gonna be freaking great. Joe 10K Miller, what's going on, dude? Rock and roll, mate. Look at all those emojis. Oh my god, that's crazy, dude. Good to see you, Joe. Cat Monkey, been waiting for this. We have been waiting for this, absolutely. Arasung, what's going on, Arasung? Good to see you, my friend. I saw the He-Man movie the day it came out. It was fun. Awesome, right? It was so much fun. And I've seen it 3 times already, planning on seeing it a 4th. It's going to be so much fun. Again and again and again. Ryan Wimmer, what's going on, dude? It could definitely spell doom for the Thundercats movie. I love this movie and really wanted it to be succeed, but it didn't. And Amazon trying to pretend that they don't care about the box office is bogus. Interesting, Ryan. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because there are a lot of reports coming in, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works. Eric Alackman, what's going on, dude? People need to watch this movie. I had a blast. I was actually surprised how well the actors did it in it, making me believe that these characters were real. It was so much fun, right? Darth Frank, hey, Frankie, what's going on, Frankie? Good to see you, brother. Good evening to you, too. Hector Cesares, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. I'm doing well, my friend. I hope you're doing good this evening yourself. Eric, MOTU Movie Flops was awesome, Jay. Love being there. I'm so proud to be a founder. Thank you, brother. We really appreciate all your support. It was incredible seeing you there. Missed you and JP, of course. And as a matter of fact, the man, the myth, the legend, the one who really wanted to start this whole thing is waiting in the wings, and there he is, JP himself. What's going on, JP?
What's going on, man? It's been a while.
Been a while, bro. Jeez Louise. Like we talked about it yesterday. We talked about it a week ago, and it just finally get everything back together, right? So it's good to see you. I love this shirt. You got a schnarf there, schnarf. Yeah, schnarf. Darth Frank, the MOTU movie will get its money from Amazon Prime, DVD, and the works. I believe so too. I do, and you know what? I'm hoping that will help them encourage to make another movie, which would be awesome. Drode, what's going on, dude? How you doing? Drod, what's going on, dude? How you doing? Hello, Jay. Hello, Drod. Alexander Storm. Hey, it's Alex. What's going on, dude? What's going on, Mega? MOTU will do better on Amazon Prime. I believe so. I really do. Streaming as well as so many other things. I think it's going to do really, really well. Arasang. I also in an art show that's He-Man themed. Oh, that's awesome. I'm cool. So excited. That's going to be so cool. Hector Cesares, fellas, never say never. Yep, I agree. Job Blues, what's going on, dude? How you doing tonight? Hector Cesares, I love the movie. 9 out of 10. I'm right there with you. For me, it's even better. It's even more than that. But that's the fan in me. What's going on, Drod? Eric Ledman. Oh, that's right. We missed it. We missed it, JP. Thunder. Thundercats. Oh, here we go. We got it in there. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate that. Hector Cesares. Hi, JP. What's going on?
What's up, Hector?
Johnny, heading out soon to watch it in deep. Oh my God. You know what? Get yourself a cushion because I've heard it rocks your pelvis bone. So
I saw it in the box, and I got to say, just be careful with your popcorn and your drinks,
dude. Everything. It's gonna rock you like some more. You got to get insurance for that stuff.
For sure.
Baby Tony, what's going on, dude? How you doing tonight? Gonna see MOTU tomorrow. Can't wait, dude. You're gonna have a blast. You are gonna have a blast. Eric, need to watch it a third time. Convincing my girlfriend to let me go again. Just go. Sneak out, like do a matinee or something. Do something crazy. So JP, a lot of things on the go, but I think a lot of people are asking the question because while you were away, a lot of people are asking the question now. Since the Master of the Universe movie is apparently, not doing as well as they were hoping, what does this mean for a Thundercats movie? Like, what's the likelihood of us getting a Thundercats movie? What are your thoughts on this? Because I think a lot of people would like to know your opinion.
To be honest, I feel like there is a toxic culture, right? In social media right now where people tend to thrive on the negative aspect of things and really pump too much attention towards the negative. A lot of people are calling the movie a flop, but Amazon themselves had declared that this is not a flop because they're looking at the long-term results. So they're looking at digital, they're looking at toy sales, and they're looking at overall, in long term, bringing in new people to the culture and to being fans of the license. So I gotta say, I really thoroughly enjoyed the movie. There are things about the movie that I thought were a little out of place. I think it was way too jokey, but overall, it was just a fantastic time in the movies. A lot of great representation of every character. You could really tell that Travis Knight is a big fan of MOTU. In my opinion, Jared Leto stole the show, man. Like Skeletor was, chef's kiss. But I want to go see it again. I get it that it was not 100% what everybody expected because they had to tweak it in a sense to make it bring in new crowds, to bring new people in to the MOTU world. But yeah, I don't think it's a flop. Now, having said that, with Thundercats, being that Thundercats is not as strong as an IP as MOTU, it has not had as many legs as MOTU has had, where MOTU is consistently like every other year or 2 years, it's like a new animated season or, it's a video game, it's a this, it's a that. There's been a lot more consistency in media with MOTU, whereas Thundercats is lacking on that, and it's only getting statues, collectibles, stuff like that. So I still feel like we can look forward to maybe like a new Netflix animated series, and then that could kind of start bringing in the new fandom maybe. And, maybe in the near future, we could see something like a live action series, I hate to say it, man, but I don't see a feature film for Thundercats in the near future, primarily because you got to think about it. Anthropomorphic cats in unitards with weapons. How do we bring in the younger crowd to be fans of that? Us 40
Okay,
something.
okay. So you say that, right? But Cats the movie was made. Okay, Cats the movie was made. Okay, so
But people say that was such an atrocity.
I know, but it doesn't matter because it still got made. Okay, it still got made. All right, that freaking movie still got made. It got panned to high heaven. Don't get me wrong, but the damn thing still got made. You're talking about people in cat suits. You know what I mean? Like seriously, like they did the whole play, whatever the musical, whatever it was. They literally put it on film, right?
Yeah.
If Cats the movie can become a freaking movie, then I'm pretty sure Thundercats the movie can be a movie. I'm
Don't get me wrong, I hope so, but I've always been like really keen on being realistic, and as much of a fan as I am, I always like to balance realism and hopeful stuff. I hope so, man. I don't know if you noticed, and I think this is something that I really wanted to touch on was I want to say starting pretty much like right before they started doing the hard promotions for Master of the Universe and revealed the trailer and stuff. These rumors started surfacing about how Thundercats was still in pre-production and the same director was attached. It's just all BS because when you did the digging and research, there was no new news since 2024. It's just somebody decided, got up one day and said, "Hey, let me make this viral. Let me make people think that Thundercats movie is still like a thing that's being worked on." And not to say that it isn't, but there has not been any official news coming from Warner Brothers, coming from I forget his name now, the guy that directed Kong Godzilla. There has not been any word about that guy still being attached to the project or anything. And I guess meshing that with the AI videos that people have been creating, someone was like, "Hey, let's get people thinking that this is coming out like next year." And I was the first one to debunk it. I was like, because as much as I want it to be real, I also have to stick to, I don't want to create false hope. That's a number one thing. People follow my page for concrete, verified information. I don't want to be spreading false rumors. I put AI stuff, but people know it's AI. I never put, "Oh, look at this test footage from Thundercats movie." No, it's just stuff that I'm sharing. I'm collaborating with partners and creators. People should know better. That's AI. You could tell there's a lot of discrepancies in the videos where some people disappear into the floor and hands morph, and you could tell it's not real. So bottom line, I want to make sure that whatever I'm putting out there is not false, because I don't want people coming back at me with pitchforks and torches. It's like, "Hey, this guy is telling us that there's a Thundercats movie happening and there's nothing." So I don't know if you agree with me, bro. Like, I want to be positive. I want to think it's happening. But it's tricky because the longevity reward system that we see that Amazon is looking at for MOTU is not necessarily something that is going to tie in with Thundercats, in the sense that Thundercats is not being produced by the original company that created them. Thundercats does not have any current media out. Thundercats is not trending in the sense of like MOTU, where there's memes and there's constant videos. I mean, it's been MOTU mania in the last 2 months, and I felt strongly that we do need to keep representing Thundercats, keep it fresh in people's minds, let them know that it's an adjacent IP, very close, very loved, near and dear to MOTU fans as well. But I just don't see how the same success record with MOTU could kind of lead into Warner saying, "Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's put $200 million and do a Thunder." I don't see it, man. I see an animated series being more of a realistic thing.
Yeah, but now it's not just Warner now. Now it's actually Paramount, right? So there's
Is that official? Is that like 100%?
The GJ, well, some government body, apparently in the US, they've greenlit the sale. So I think it's only got to go through a few more channels, and that's it. It's finished, right? The deal is done.
Mm-hmm.
So Paramount will be the next, the one who really. I guess it's still going to be Warner Brothers. It's still going to be Warner Brothers, but at the end of the day, Paramount will have a say in it, right? So it's going to be an interesting, overall arc on this, right? We'll see how it goes, but I think someone has to be brave enough to really, write a script which is believable. You know what I mean? One thing. Okay, so one thing that you and I think can agree on is, because you just mentioned it, is that Master Universe had to be treated for today's audience. You know what I mean? It had to actually be written in such a way that it could be palatable for a new generation, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But as you said, there were a lot of naysayers out there. There were a lot of people who just did not want to accept anything that wasn't the original Master Universe, or anything that was, maybe people really wanted a violent Master Universe. You know what I mean? They wanted the extremes. You know what I mean? They weren't looking for something that could be for younger people, for younger audiences, for children. I think that they wanted something a little bit more grown up, a little bit more towards revelation and revolution. But that was never going to happen. You know what I mean? The highest possibility for success for this Master Universe film was to try and make it for today's audiences, and try to get as many young people to watch this film as possible. So that's a trick that has to be done with Thundercats as well. I think that you're right. I think that the way to go would definitely be to finish off a cartoon series. One thing about Master Universe that they really did well, and I think they did well on this, they put together a whole bunch of media prior to the movie, right? They had the Master Universe CG series, which, didn't do as well as they would hope, but I enjoyed it. I thought the CG series was really, really cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
It got canceled before the last season, which again happens to many, many shows, right? But I thought that where they ended it was not bad, right? Mm-hmm. Very much on a cliffhanger. Pretty, it kind of parallels 2000X when you really think about it. The Hordak arc was killed. You know what I mean? We didn't get to the Snake Men either, right?
Yeah.
But what they got was pretty good. You know what I mean? The Revelation and Revolution series, sadly, once again, there were a lot of naysayers. There were a lot of people who were like, "This is not my He-Man. Oh, Tila. Oh, blah 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 blah." If you actually take the time to watch that series, you might actually be very, very surprised. You know what I mean? So it really is. And people are gonna rake me over the coals for saying this, but there's a lot of gatekeeping in the Masters Universe community. I do acknowledge that, and in some sense, I was one of those people who was kind of gatekeeping. I really was. I was one of the first persons, right, to come out and say, "I'll believe it when I see it." Right, JP? You heard me. A lot of people heard me, and yeah. I was one of those guys who was like, why on earth? Like, why bring it back to Earth? I was one of those guys, right? And I even said, I've been used to seeing I've been used to seeing, like, in my head canon, it's always been the same thing. Duncan is a ginger adoptive father. You know what I mean? That's always been my head canon. And when I first saw the casting for Man at Arms, I was like, I know Idris Elba is going to slay this role. I said it. I said, I know Idris Elba is going to slay this role because he's freaking amazing. But I'm having a hard time seeing it, right? That's what I said. I said those words, right? And you know what? I'm so glad I was wrong. I really am. I'm so glad I was wrong. I'm so glad that, the movie turned out to be freaking incredible. It was it was an experience of a lifetime. And I'm not just saying that because I was at the premiere. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that happens when you get swept up into our premiere and stuff. No, I watched it 2 additional times. And what's it called? Episode 1. Not episode 1. Sorry. Episode Episode 7, I guess, right? The Force Awakens, right? Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Dude, it made billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. People were watching the thing 10, 12, 13 times over. And you know what? The first 3 or 4 times they were loving it. Then all of a sudden they started noticing things after the 4th, 5th, or 6th, or 7th time. But the reality is everybody gets swept up in it, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is freaking amazing." And then all of a sudden they start realizing this is just a ripoff of Episode 4, right? That's what a lot of people started putting into their head canon, right? But the reality is, I think that Episode 7 was not that bad, compared to what came after it. It wasn't that bad at all.
Episode was the best of the sequels.
I 100% agree. It was definitely the best of the sequels, not the prequels for sure, but definitely the best of the sequels. Yeah. Right. Whatever happened after that is now whatever. Right. But it is what it is. I think He-Man, in a lot of ways, Master Universe, in a lot of ways, actually did a lot better for the fans. As a movie for the fans. And something that could be accepted by new fans as well. And I really am hoping that somebody's going to take a risk on Thundercats the same way they took a risk on I Universe. I think if we get a decent script, I think if we get somebody who can really put together a script which makes sense, and please, for the love of God, do not come to Earth. I don't want them to be mutated fucking cats. I don't want them to have been an accident on Earth or evolved from Earth. You know what? I might accept that that third Earth was Earth, but the Thundercats still had to get there. You know what I mean? I'm perfectly happy with that, right? I'm perfectly happy with the idea that there's a pyramid that has a mummy from tens of millions of years ago, whatever, right? But please do not make the freaking Thundercats from Earth. That would be an absolute travesty. Absolutely horrific. Yeah. It's literally like Dragon Ball Z. Remember the Dragon Ball Z, the movie? That was just horrible. I don't know if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, the movie. It's just absolutely horrible. Really terrible. Right? I really want Thundercats to have a good story. I want Thundercats to actually, be made by the right people. I think Travis Knight is a really good, person to actually have done Master Universe. I'm not sure he's the right person to do Thundercats, but I think if you put together a really, really good team, people who, bring in some of those comic book writers that have done some incredible work on the story lately. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bring in some of the talent that's out there, right? And let's see what kind of magic we can come up with, right? I'm really, really hoping that somebody will take a chance on Thundercats, especially since again this is the time to experiment. You know what I mean? Like things are going all over the place. IPs are like Hollywood's hungry for IPs. You know what I mean? I'm really hoping that Thundercats will get its chance. And you know what? We as the fans are the ones who will make this happen. You know what I mean? The fact that Thundercats Classics continues to share and to make people aware of everything that's happening around Thundercats and everything that the fandom around it, I think that it really is something that really could push it over the edge and make it something truly, truly special. And you know what? Like I said, if we can see something like Cats the Movie, man. I mean, seriously, just as a quick reminder, everybody, this was a thing, okay? Once upon a time, this was a thing.
This is so cringe.
How come I'm not hearing anything? It's muted. That's why. Oh my God! Can you? When I first saw this image, the first time I saw this image, I was like, "What the fuck?" I literally, I almost lost it. I was like, "What am I looking at here?" So that looks freaky. That looks so freaky. Then we see a whole these are true freaks, man. These are actual freaks. You know what I mean? Like this is just crazy. But again, this was a thing. This did happen, right? You didn't dream this, guys. This actually did happen. Oh, and you know what's really crazy about this? Remember Wily Kit and Wily Cat and Panthro, Lionel? Remember when they were all in Exodus? This
Oh
is
yeah,
what,
naked cats. Naked cats.
this is what it is, right? Like this. These cats are not wearing clothes, right?
Naked cats.
These cats are not wearing any freaking clothes, man. Like, see these spots? Those are Chitara's spots. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's look. They're all freaking naked. They're all freaking.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
They are all freaking. They're all in there. Look at this one. Like, jeez Louise. Actually, that is a coat. She is wearing a coat there. I don't know whose coat that is. Did they kill somebody? Like, what is that? But dude, that is Chitara right there. You know what I mean? That is.
Yeah.
That is.
I hear you, man. And it's one of these things, like you said, it got made, but I feel like musical type movies, musical inspired type movies. We have Phantom of the Opera, Guys and Dolls. This, for example, they're movies that are based on something that people have seen in Broadway, but yeah, the approach to it is completely like,
oh my god, dude, this got made. This I think this was like, what was it, like $160 million like budget? It was like the CGI alone to make. Here we go. This is freaking crazy, dude. This movie got made. Can you know what? It had big stars too. Ian McKellen, freaking.
Well, he's a big Broadway guy.
Yeah, but then Taylor Swift. Come on, man. Like, we're talking like big names here. Rebel Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, huge names.
Yeah, Judi Dench. Wow, that's right. That's a pre-Ozempic Rebel.
Dude. Seriously, can you like I said, if this can get made, anthropomorphic freaking cats, whatever, man, cats got made. Okay, cats got made, and because cats got made, I have hope for Thundercats, man. I mean, look, this guy could be Bengali for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Dude, I love you for bringing up this argument, and that's a good argument. And I haven't really seen anybody address this, but it's true. Like, you can't really get any worse than this. So Thundercats would definitely be an improvement.
Oh, Wolverine's got a good question. Wasn't Idris Elba in the Cats movie? Was he? Was he in the Cats movie? Somebody look that up.
Let me see.
JB, can you look that up? Was Idris Elba in the freaking Cats movie? Because, man, this is just killing me. There he is. Yes, that's Idris Elba, isn't it?
Yes.
That's Idris Elba.
He's the one that was wearing the hat in that
video.
That's
Idris Elba right there. That's him. Oh, my God. You can't make this stuff up, bro. You cannot make this stuff up. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. Wow. Seriously, this is the key. We got to find some director crazy enough to do something like, cats.
I know somebody. I don't recall right now, but I believe it was either the director or Andrew Lloyd Webber. Isn't it Andrew Lloyd Webber that created Cats?
I know Andrew Lloyd Webber did Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I know that for a fact.
Phantom of the Opera as well.
Yes.
Let me see, because I know there was someone they were interviewing not too long ago, and they were talking about how embarrassed they were about being attached to cats.
So the music was done by Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's the music. Okay.
So I feel like it was probably him, or it was someone that had to do with creating the Broadway show or the story, and they were like,
so
the movie was atrocious.
It's based off of a book called The Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot is a famous writer. I mean, like,
yeah, I'm sure that guy's like long dead.
Oh yeah, he's in the. That was in the.
I think it was the director, whoever directed this or something. They were like embarrassed that this thing was a thing. It's just one of those things. It's just I don't know in what right mind they thought this would look good or work, or I don't know.
1939. T.S. Eliot wrote that book in 1939, just before what was that, before the war or after the war? I guess it was just in the middle of it, man. Like, holy crap, T.S. Eliot, like crazy. And yeah, then it became this thing.
Telling you, man.
Oh my goodness. There he is. There's Lionel, Lord of the Thundercats. That's Cat's Lair. That's Cat's. The Thundercats have come home. That's Cat's Lair right there.
Look, here we go. Andrew Lloyd Webber openly despised the 2019 Cats movie. He heavily criticized director Tom Hooper for ignoring the musical's original creators, stating the film was off the scale, all wrong. Andrew Lloyd Webber himself hated the movie.
Steve, yes, we are live right now. We're discussing how Cats could be the gateway into the Cats the movie can be a gateway into the Thundercats movie.
You know, it's a very different approach in the sense of like, I feel like where Thundercats is and where MOTU is, it's a very different track record, because MOTU has always and only belonged to Mattel, whereas Thundercats was sold off in the 80s, and Warner Brothers has completely mishandled so many lost opportunities with having the power to do stuff with Thundercats. And now it still feels that way. It feels like Warner's, they don't know what they're sitting on. I think they're sitting on a gold mine, but I guess they don't want to mine through it to get to the gold. It's crazy, man.
Here's the truth. Hollywood's always looking for the next big IP, something that they can attach themselves to. They have so many to dig through. They've got Mask, they've got Brave Star, they've got Black. If you want to talk about inclusivity, they got Black Star, arguably one of the first really visible minority. You know, he was a freaking Native American who, you know, like the same thing with Brave Star. Those two characters alone could really like hold their own. You know what I mean? Like, they've got so many things, but you know, they continue to just look for or create things, or, you know, dig into the well of already existing IPs. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, why would you try something like this? Scooby-Doo had like what, 4 or 5 movies? Scooby-Doo did great. You know what I mean? It kind of went off the rails for a little bit, but I mean, like it's a great property, right? And you could see the same thing being done with multiple different IPs. You know what I mean? Like we have so many different great shows that really, the Centurions, dude, freaking Iron Man ×3. You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's be real here.
I would love to see Visionaries become
right? Visionaries, or what's it called? You know what? Let's dig a little bit more to the surface. Warhammer 40K. I mean, come on. Cavill's had that license. Cavill's had that movie license for like, you know, 6 or 7 years now. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, nobody wants to take a chance on it, right? That to me is just crazy. Akira. How long have they been talking about Akira? Like crazy. I mean, what's it called? Battle Angel finally got made after they sat on it for decades. You know what I mean? It took that long. Akira is a movie that has to be made right. I mean, come on, you have a blueprint. Basically, just go scene for scene. You know what I mean? Ghost in the Shell got made, right? There's so many. It's like anime. They're taking risks on anime. Why? Anime is massive, right? The kids are huge into anime. Look, One Piece is live action. Cowboy Bebop had live action, which was whatever, right? But you know, Bleach eventually had not Bleach, sorry, Death Note. You know what I mean? There have been so many different adaptations in live action, and you know what? Now they already have properties which are ready to go, and one of them being Thundercats. You know what I mean? And like I said, Cats was a thing. Cats was a freaking thing. If Cats can be a thing, I think that I think that Thundercats can definitely be a thing. I mean, come on, somebody's just got to take somebody's got to have a little bit of faith, right? And we have to have the right script and really see where we can go with this. I mean, I think it is really possible.
One thing that I have to bring up that I've noticed and that I was really impressed by was how much love and recognition Mattel gave to influencers, social media people like Dan, like Jay, which is kind of more like a new kid on the block because Dan is like OG. Dan started doing YouTube stuff before I did. We used to go to Toy Fair together and all this stuff, but just that whole like exclusivity, the recognition. I mean, they even brought out the guy that did the meme video of, hey, what's going on, to the premiere. So it's like, I wonder if Thundercats ever happens, would Warner Brothers roll out that red carpet for people like you and I, where
it's
we've been championing this IP for so long? You know what I'm saying?
It's rough. It's so. I think that the toy connection itself, right? There's money there, right? There's money in the toys, but Amazon has their own, budgets, and like what the money that's actually just spent to promote this film is not small. It's huge. Yeah. It's absolutely massive, right? But the money that Mattel looked to spend to really get a lot of social media hype around this is even bigger. You know what I mean? Like they were bringing out social media influencers from South America, from Europe, from all corners of the world, man. It was freaking amazing, right? Yeah. And I feel privileged that I was even allowed to watch that movie at the premiere. Like it was an incredible, it was a life-changing thing. Like it was just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Seeing that Castle Grayskull up close and personal, and just like seeing and witnessing that was truly eye-opening.
Imagine that. Imagine a Cat's Lair that man's Chinese, dude. Imagine that fucking shit.
That would be sick. That
would be like a Deadpool breaking the fourth wall beyond pinch me moment. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
absolutely
holy fucking shit, Cat's Lair's right behind me. It's like
yep. For all of us, man. For all of us.
And we can all be hopeful, and I know that there's some stuff going on, in the back rooms. Some stuff is being worked on. Not necessarily movie, but there's some stuff in the works with people that are passionate and love Thundercats. How far that stuff is going to go, time will tell. But definitely, I think for sure, it's about damn time that we have a Thundercats convention, and that's something that we definitely need to work on to make happen, man. Because I think it's going to bring a lot more emphasis on how near and dear and how loved this IP still is, and also expose new people to it. So I definitely think it's something that needs to happen soon.
Well, the fact that sword is hanging right above your head, I mean, it really does show that people still want this IP. People are hungry for this IP, and anything's possible. I mean, if Master Universe the movie can be made, if Cats can be made, I'm telling you, Thundercats can be made. And you know what? Let's get a third opinion on this because the two of us, we're two fans, but a third fan is never a bad thing to really get us another opinion and whether or not what Brick something wants to bring into the fray. Brick, what's going on, dude?
Hey, let's fix Hollywood. Let's go.
What you going, bro? How's
it going, buddy? It's been a while, man.
Good to see you both. It's been a while, JP. Good to see you. I'm appreciating the Thundercats conversation, and I have hope and I have faith.
I do.
Yeah, I think it's a thing that's possible. But you see my comments about cats?
No, what was it? Where was it?
Justice for cats, damn it. The movie was terrible. But I grew like that was one of the that was a moment for Brick. That was a moment where like, oh, you can have people dressed up as cats and they can sing and dance, and there was some like 70s funk stuff, and I was all about it. Totally introduced me to like poetry. I read the T.S. Eliot books. That said, that movie was terrible. And what a failure in terms of sorry to go back to this, but I want to revisit it. they missed the golden opportunity to just do the whole cat videos, like make them real cats, like John Favreau's Jungle Book, right? People love watching cats do stupid things. Now make them sing, and there you go. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk about cats with swords.
There was a Miyazaki film where this girl saves a cat from dying, and he ends up being the prince of cats, right? And I can't remember what the movie is called, but I mean, they walk on their hind legs, they bow and they do stuff. It's actually really cool. Actually, Miyazaki's had several movies about cats, but it's that kind of whimsical nature that can definitely do it. But this is what I'm trying to say. If that's
it, is that the longest I'm going to get you on the musical? Okay, go ahead,
bro. I'm kidding. If Cats the movie, the musical, the movie can happen, Thundercats can definitely happen. I mean, like I said, those cats, those cats were literally that was fur. There was no, I mean, like we can totally do it. 100%.
Listen, I can say, I'm on the same wavelength with Brig, and I'll tell you this: while the Cats movie was atrocious, okay,
it was.
I'm gonna go down nostalgia road and tell you guys that, my dearly beloved passed away uncle introduced me to the Broadway world. Took me to New York. I saw Cats live in Broadway. I saw Phantom of the Opera. I saw Guys and Dolls. I appreciate the Cats Broadway show for what it was.
100%.
I just thought the movie was not justified for what the Broadway show was,
And the only reason I bring that up, like not just the jokes around Hollywood and like the use of cats, because I actually think that's legit. I do think like people spend so much time watching cats, that could have been a thing. But so you've seen it on stage. Tell me the Rum Tum Tugger didn't look like a Thundercat. Like they were humanoid cats. If you just put swords on them, there's a world where I could see like that level of practical makeup, and they actually look really dope.
When I first saw I used to watch Buffalo 29 WTB. I used to watch that religiously. It was like my channel, because it had everything. It had Brave Star, it had Master Universe, it had Thundercats, it had G.I. Joe, it had all the really great cartoons, and every. Without fail, every Saturday, sometime around noon, they would have a commercial for Cats the musical. And I remember the first time I saw that thing, I was like, wait a second, these are Thundercats. I was like, these are freaking Thundercats. Like that was the first thing I thought of when I first saw that, right? And they didn't have the ears. It was just regular people, right? And which had
some of them had ears, but some of them had ears. But I guess my point is, so we already know the Hollywood thing was obviously a mistake, but like people paid a lot of money to go watch humanoid cats jump around and sing and dance. So there's an element of people, like having worked with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, I will tell you, there are a lot of people who like furry creatures, period. Like we've had every single convention, people have like shyly looked at stuff. And then eventually they approach us with like, hey, are you familiar with the furry community? 100% every single time they do. Like the beard, the ones like WonderCon. I got this from them, and it's dope. Like there are people who want to see this stuff. So I know there's a crossover of people out there who would be open to seeing like, oh, they're anthropomorphic cats. What's that about? And then there's the fantasy element. I just think there's an opportunity with that I think is maybe even more potentially appealing to people. The MOTU thing's a hard sell, and I'm surprised that it even got the attention that it did, because like it's like a big buff blonde dude running around. You know what I mean? Like there's an element of like, I remember when I first showed it to my kids when they were little, they're like, why is he naked? Like that was their reaction. Mm-hmm. And the barbarian thing isn't the same way. The bodybuilding thing isn't the same way. So like imagine if they're full on like cats. Like, wait, what are they? These tiger people, there's lasers. I think there's a possibility there, and I'm just begging Hollywood. Come on, man, let's go.
I know where Brick is going with this. I know where Brick is going. The cats exist in Animal Warriors of the Kingdom because they have a spaceship, right? They have they are part of the
crossover. Let's go
universe. It's in there, right? They were just abandoned on Earth and they have to find their way back up there.
You know what? I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. If we get a Thundercats movie, about 5 years after that, Jason could easily sell a Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Netflix series just on the success of the Thundercats movie. Let's go. I'm invested.
Sure, man. For sure.
Optimus Torres, saludos desde Honduras. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, Optimus. What's up, man?
Good to see you, brother.
Okay, my bad. I derailed. I went back to Cats, but you were kind of in the middle of talking about Masters of the Universe, and you were talking about that.
We were talking about actually. Really, we're not technically talking. We're really hovering over the idea. You know, is there a possible Thundercats movie?
Yep.
You know, can it be? And I think it is. I really think it is. Look at how many people are chiming in right now. Jaga Dreamcast could be Liam Neeson. No, he's too old.
I was gonna say he's gotten old.
He's gotten.
He would have been rad.
I get it.
Perfect for Jaga. I forget his name, but it's the guy that plays the villain in Avatar, the military dude.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, sure.
The guy who was in
what is his name?
Don't Breathe or
Don't Breathe. Yeah.
Don't Breathe. Yeah, he was good.
That guy would be perfect as Jaga.
Johnny says Idris Elba would make a good Panthro. You know what? Yeah, I think he would.
I see Terry Crews as Panthro.
Yeah, I kind of want someone younger.
Without
want someone a little younger.
Without the jokiness, just you know, like
Terry Crews ain't that young, bro. Terry Crews is. I think he's. Old. Isn't Terry Crews older than Idris? I mean,
no, I think they're probably around this. I think Idris is older than Terry Crews. I mean,
not by much. We should look that up.
What about Ewan McGregor as Jaga? Like he's getting up there. He's got weight. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
So Herbert Schultz says that the best opportunity for Thundercats is to be a movie is not live action. It could be an AI movie with a good story. Yeah. So
sorry, I just swallowed my vomit.
I am so sad. It saddens me to. It saddens me to. It saddens me to admit that unfortunately that could be a future. Right. It saddens me to admit that. But here's the thing. I look at some of the artwork that is being presented on Thundercats Classics on many of the things. Because here's where it's getting crazy. There's an AI art exhibit at the Rogers Center later, I think later in the year. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what? There's no getting around it. It's something we have to deal with one time eventually. But I think that if you look at AR artwork, if you look at AI movies, they really are pretty soulless. You know, they come across as plastic, like real, like action figures that have come to life. You know what I mean? It just, there's something about it that just, it's not real, right? Until they can really get that down packed, I don't think anyone's really going to engage with AI the way they expect them to in films. I don't think it's possible, right? The problem with human beings is we recognize, we recognize synthology, right? We recognize it pretty quickly. You know what I mean? There's just, whenever something is off, even by the slightest, we're like, what the hell is that? Like, it's something that if you think it was hard to believe that He-Man could exist on film, it's going to be even harder to believe that anything AI generated is going to be hard to believe. Don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful. It does. And it has made some proof of concepts really, really easy to consider now. But the reality is, I don't think it will ever be able to replace a real actor. I don't think it'll be able to replace real directors and people who have real passion for this. You know what I mean? Master Universe is real because it was made by people who really believed in the project, people who, like a fan, made Master Universe. And honestly, it's a great film, and everyone should go watch it. Seriously. But you know, the saddest part about your statement, though, Herbert, is that eventually you're probably right. It will one day come down to that, and that makes me sad. That really makes me very, very sad. Endless Fables in the house. What's going on, Brian? What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, the next generation does watch movies, just not in the same concentration that we do. There's no like concentrated fandom anymore because everybody watches their own things, you know.
Yeah, and they also are more comfortable at home. So getting them into a theater is rough, which is actually one of the reasons why Master Universe probably didn't do as well as it could have. It's not like the Mario movie where, you know, all these young people are really invested in Mario. You know, again, it's the video game culture, right? So they want to see it as a group. Whereas this one, it doesn't have enough history with them. It has history for us. Like, we have a lot of history with Master Universe, but
Yep.
younger people just don't understand it and don't like. They'd rather consume it at home first and then figure it out later. Baby Tony, you're hyping me up, dude. It was a great movie. It still is a great movie. Jay doesn't like mutant. Dude, I love Mutant Cats. That's why we're talking about this. Like, I love it, but I don't love that movie. That movie was like, what am I
That
looking
was
at?
bad. That was terrible. Taylor Swift was in it too, I think, right?
A bunch of people were in it.
Yeah, she sucked.
It had a star-studded cast, guys. It was freaking crazy. It really was a movie which on paper, on paper it was a bad idea. I don't, but you know, just by star-studded cast alone, like, you know, casting alone, they it should have been something. Thundercats would be awesome. Just need a fans to write it or consult it. Yes, I totally agree, 100%. Hey, Travis in the house, Mr. Wonderful. It sucks that it bombed. It's still not over. Like, it's slowly making its way up to parody. As a matter of fact, I want to get your opinion on this, guys. I want to get your opinion on this. Forbes actually wrote an article a couple of days ago, and it said why He-Man needs to muscle his way to 80 million. This was written by Caroline Reed, senior contributor, and under entertainment. And it goes on to say that Master Universe is a reboot of 1987 film with the same name, which starred Duff Lundgren. He-Man bombed at the box office, just grossing just under 17.3. Wow, that is crazy. 17.3 million. Interest in the rights was reignited in 2007 following a runaway success of Michael Bay's first movie about Transformers, another beloved 80s toy line. So here's where things get interesting. According to Variety, Netflix spent nearly $30 million on developing the live-action He-Man movie, but it canceled it in 2023, citing budget concerns. It left Mattel looking for a new studio, and Amazon became its real-life White Knight. Now, if we move in further to find out why they talked about it, here it is. Masters Universe was made in the United Kingdom, where studios get a reimbursement of 25.5% of the money spent in the country. All they have to do is incur at least 10% of the core costs there and pass points of tests to proving that they're worth it to the UK. And then it goes on to say that the Amazon subsidiary behind Master Universe is called Regal Leo UK Productions and is a nod to He-Man's royal lineage and MGM's Roaring Lion logo. The company filed its first earnings report, blah, blah, blah. 52.1 million or 4.5 million was spent on production, which was in line with their budget. It goes on to this is a lot of numbers here, but essentially, it basically says that the 40.3 million doesn't include marketing costs, as they need to split that with the studio rather than the company. The 40.3 million is just the net production of the cost by the movie by the end of 2024, so it needs to gross at least that much in theater in order to break even at the box office. The share of the box office that theaters need to pay the studio is known in the trade as rental fee, and is an indication of the typical level that comes from film industry consultant Stephen Follows, who interviewed over 1,200 film professionals in 2014 that concluded that the studio theaters keep 49% of the takings on average. So the actual company only takes in about a little over 51% of the take, which is probably closer to a 50-50 split. So, and this is the key, Master Universe needs to gross 80.6 million at the very least for Amazon to cover its costs at the box office. That minimum threshold will, of course, need to rise in line with the cost of principal photography and post-production. The 80.6 million is merely the first threshold of Master Universe needs to cross in order to break even. Variety forecasts the movie's total budget ended up about 170 million, and if so, would break even come close at a gross profit around 340 million. So what they're saying is that this is the number they need to at least make to justify even an interest in another Master Universe movie. And then in order to really get it over the hump, they have to make at least 170 million. And to really impress them, it has to make at least 340 million, which is not going to happen. I don't think it would be with the current number, with the current trajectory that it's at now. I think we'd be lucky to get even 100 million at this point. However, This being the second weekend that it was in the theaters, it did gross worldwide $86.387 million. So, and this is optimistic at best. Another couple of good weekends and we could possibly hit 120 million. But again, that's
just box office though. Like once it starts streaming and people are watching this on digital,
yes.
And then you got to think about all those damn popcorn buckets that sold. You know, that's a lot of revenue as well coming in to Mattel. So, you know, in the large scope of things, I can see how it could be successful in a way for them. You know, when you look at it long term, not over like a 3-week period, but maybe like a year from now, they'll say, hey, they've grossed like freaking $400 million, including toy sales, box office, digital. You know what I'm saying? Like an all-inclusive kind of package. I think it's gonna give them a return, but it's just gonna be a slow crawl to get to that point.
So my point in reading those articles is that there's the statement made by an Amazon representative. I can't remember who it is exactly now. Somebody's going to have to dig it up. But they said that this opening and the trajectory it's at is indicative of the holistic approach that they are taking towards Masters of the Universe, right? And it goes across all of their media, all media, over the next couple of months. That is exactly what you're saying, JP. If you read between the lines, that's actually exactly what they're saying. They're looking at this as a long game, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but the indications from this film, if you stick around till the end of the movie, the indications of this film is that, and the way Travis Knight is talking, is that I think that they've been thinking about a sequel for a long time, right? I think that they always had a sequel story, at least, ready to go. And I think that it's clearly obvious. Anybody who's seen the film knows exactly what the next movie is going to be about.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be very interesting. And in a lot of ways, the reason why I think that they're looking forward to that future is because the property associated with that new movie, it has a young fan base already primed and ready to go. You know what I mean? Because of the recent media behind that. Again, I'm talking really vague here, but I basically
I left the movie at the credits. Is there something I missed? No, I'm just kidding.
Snell's World, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the $5 super sticker. Really appreciate it. Jay, over the weekend I looked at the showing in our newest masterpiece, and it had mostly full showing, and the scary movie had no one. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. However, you probably had a very friendly audience that night. Scary Movie's doing relatively well. Yeah. And Backrooms, which is kind of funny because JP kind of mentioned Backrooms.
Yeah, when he said that earlier, I thought the same thing you did. I was like, okay, Backrooms? Something's working in the Backrooms?
And that looks like, and that, what's crazy about that too is, again, you see where the younger audience is invested in. They're into the scary pastas. You know what I mean? They're into the urban myths. They're into the internet lore, right? Yeah. And it's no surprise why Master Universe and Mattel and Amazon are investing heavily in trying to reach as many social media influencers as possible, right? It's crazy. And I'm not going to lie. MOTU Universe really did benefit from this movie. It really 100%. Did. It was we would never have had this chance, right? Engaging with Amazon and GM and everything that happened this past 2 weekends ago, if it wasn't for this movie. This movie opened up avenues for us that would never have been possible, especially on a first year convention. Absolutely impossible. And to say that it worked, to say that it really helped us is an understatement. I mean, I posted a video. I don't know if you guys had a chance to take a look at it, but I mean, I really quickly. I posted this video, just showcasing the lineup that was throughout the day. Awesome. This was crazy, right? It started at 9:30 a.m. Look at all these people lined up at 9, and they were there since like 8 in the morning. You know what I mean? Yeah. 10 a.m. we had to move the pre-registration lineup. You know what I mean? Like they were all getting ready. People, again, all these people were just chomping at the bit to celebrate Masters of the Universe, and we could not be more humbled by this response. It was an absolute incredible win for the community. You know,
I'm
what I
glad
mean?
that you can see this in a positive light, because I know throughout this whole morning you were stressed.
Oh hell yeah, I was stressed. If you
I remember,
you can hear,
I saw it.
Dude, if you look at the full video, you're there. I don't know, like if you
am
look
I
at
in
the
there?
YouTube, if you look at the YouTube video, the full 50-minute video, because this even sped up. It took 15 minutes to do this. Right,
me cutting in through the line to get my.
You were there trying to get your dealer's pass. You know what I mean? And I totally get it, but I didn't want to center you out. But you know, this is the kind of response. Like, and you know, Amazon.
No, correction. I was a seller, but I was a founder. So I had heard from folks that you better go get your founder stuff, and I was like, okay. So you know, to clear the air.
Absolutely,
founder.
But it was so much fun, and yes, there was a lot. It was an organized chaos. I'm not going to lie; it always happens at conventions, but that's what it is.
Well, here I know we're talking about the MOTU movie to kind of talk about the possibility of Thundercats. I will say that absolutely what I saw at MOTU Universe is sort of not that we had to be reactivated, but there was this sort of reconvening of the Masters of the Universe fan base. And it was, man, the energy was palpable. Like, and a lot of it had to do with the location, the fact that, you know, you had access to like all these big names of people that have been involved in the property over the last couple of decades, right? So you had people from the earliest toy development stuff like Rebecca Taylor, to you had Mike Young there, you know, kind of in that middle period till Ted Biaselli and Tim Sheridan, to like Revelation, and then the current comics. Like, it was like the whole gamut, and I missed a bunch of people in there. The point was, like, we weren't in there going like, oh, the stuff that you like sucked, and my version of the MOTU's better. There was none of that. It was like, hey, we love this thing, and we're all in this moment excited about, you know, coming together, talking about all this stuff, while also celebrating, like, hey, in a cup for those of us at that time, unlike the, you know, the VIPs like this guy, we hadn't seen it yet, and right, we were waiting for this movie. So box office, is it a flop? I mean, by all objective measures that have been traditionally used, 100%. And that's not me trying to get away from calling it a flop. Like, I think it's a flop, but the metrics are like very different now. Again, I'm not saying that it's like a success or anything, but to connect to what you're saying about the way Amazon MGM is looking at this, man, the game is so different. When I think about JP talking about like the long term and where they're going to make their money at, I'm even at a loss to wrap my head around, like, how does Amazon make money? They're currently funding the most, not one of the most, but the most expensive television show ever in Rings of Power. I was excited about Rings of Power, right? And like, you know, I enjoyed the first season. Then the second season, I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm enjoying it. But I saw the fan community. It wasn't like the massive hit like the you know, the movies were, the trilogy by, I'm forgetting his name, Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't that, because those metrics, those days are like done, folks. Like, you can't go back and say, oh, compare a movie today to 15 years ago, to 20 years ago. Like the franchises like Star Wars, even Star Wars struggled at the box office. Like, we need to wrap our heads around that. Is it because, you know, people will say, oh, it's because Star Wars sucks? Or no, man, the economy, the way we consume content, the way we practice nerddom is completely different. And I 100% actually think that creates an opportunity for things like Thundercats to kind of have an existence. It won't be, hey, they're going to have a Thundercats movie and there's going to be long lines of people around the theater to go watch this. Like, nah, dude, sorry, the world has changed. But I think there's an opportunity, whether it's through streaming, through some other avenue, for them to give us, I think, specifically a live action Thundercats. I think an animation would be amazing too, but I think there's a way to do it. I'm just going to say that I think, and we got to watch Masters of the Universe, this movie, and how it does moving forward. And I should say people should check out and pay attention to Rings of Power as well. Because again, that was no small investment. And we're talking a post Game of Thrones Hollywood with all the money that was pumped into that thing. They're pumping, Jeff Bezos was pumping even more money continuing like some kind of Tolkien stuff on the screen.
Yeah, but there's also the Expanse. The Expanse,
sure, but I'm just saying this literally is the most expensive, Jay. Like, if we think about that, they were taking a massive swing, and they're not sitting here going like, "Oh no, we are not making money on ticket sales." No, they're like, "This is a long-term investment. We know this is like a 5-season thing. They're about to do season 3. They're not going to cancel it. They're not going to go like season 3 then say, "Oh, just kidding. We invest." No, like it or not, and I don't like it. There are people in this world currently that have way too much money to burn. And like the whole Amazon Prime thing is literally Jeff Bezos' like pet project to try and like, yeah, I want to have an entertainment company. And I don't think he's going to like, he's not going to quit. Like a lot of these people aren't going to quit.
You know what?
I just think it's going to be different. Metrics are going to be very different.
I'm of the same opinion as both of you. And Eric is also saying the same thing. Come on, Master Universe is always meant for home watching over several years. Just like the cartoon show, it's not a fast cash movie, but more of a long-term franchise investment into a new fan base. And you know what? I can definitely see that, right? And as I said, I think I mentioned it earlier in the show, the way the younger people, consume their content. Honestly, they like to be comfortable. They like to be in their flip-flops. They like to be in their snuggies.
Pajamas, dude. They're wearing pajamas 24/7, man. My students come to school in pajamas.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
Crocs.
So you know what? I'm eager to see how, as a lot of us are saying, the streaming numbers are going to go. I'm eager to see how the DVD sales are going to go, because apparently the DVD already sold out twice now, like several Amazon orders, depending on which country you're ordering it.
Do they still make DVDs?
I was like, wait. I was like,
sorry.
Blu-ray, right?
Blu-rays,
Okay.
sorry, Blu-rays.
Like, that's a thing?
Yeah, I think DVDs
But
are
they do. They, believe it or not, they still do make DVDs. Yes, they still do, because it's a cheaper Walmart gift to give away. You know what I mean? Rodimus Prime. I just saw it today and I loved it. I'm going to go see it again.
Good.
Absolutely.
See that? I hear that a lot, which is great.
Tube Top. I saw the movie and I'm the target audience. It could have been a great movie if they had leaned more into the dad-son relationship. If the king turned around and saw his son turn into the proud He-Man, that's debatable. There's a lot to take away from how the story was written. But I know what you're saying. I know where you're coming from. But to be honest with you, if you really look at the progression of what Adam has become, Adam was always, as they said in the movie, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying this, because it's been part of Adam's actual mythos from the very beginning. Adam is the antithesis of what empathy is. In his own being. He's always been the one to be compassionate. Even in Revelation, they said the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, I was on with the Attorney of Four, and Shane basically talked about how he thinks that there were certain key moments and key aspects of the movie that were borrowed from Revelation and Revolution, which I agree. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I can see it. I can see the parallels, like almost 1-to-1. Steve, I dipped out. Let's hope Brick is real about this. Brick is always real. Brick is.
And if I'm not, what's going to happen, Steve? I mean, come on, man. Let's smile on the internet every now and then.
Steve is pretty critical, and I got you. I appreciate that about Steve. Music was wrongly chosen for a few scenes. His awkwardness should have been gone after he transformed. No, that's impossible. No one's awkwardness can just disappear because you become the most powerful. As a matter of fact, I think it enhances the fact that you become more awkward.
And so I think that's something that we also, I want to go back to Revelation a little bit, that the beauty of it in Revelation is that, no, it's not about He-Man. It's about you. The reason you showed up in Preternia, right, the way you did, not looking like the buff He-Man, like everybody else that was there, you showed up as Adam, because that was the hero. It was Adam. And so that awkwardness, that's Adam. Like, I appreciated that, actually.
Yeah. So did I.
He-Man can't be like a construction. He-Man can't be like a magic, like I am perfect now. Otherwise, it just discredits who Adam is. Then exactly. Why Adam?
Exactly.
Anybody can do it.
And I appreciate that. You like here's the thing about, like, it was the same thing with Captain America. After Captain America got his powers, he was still the same. Like, the whole point is you don't change who you are. Yes, you get a little bit more confident. Yes, you get a little bit more powerful. But if you actually allow yourself to become that which is really the problem, which is exactly the whole point, then what are you? You're just a sham, right? You're not real. Future Warrior. On my sixth time seeing MOTU and loving this movie
Damn.
every day, it's a full-on love letter to the He-Man mythos. Exactly, I agree.
That's dope.
And we're going to move on in a second, but I did want to get Ryan in there. I said it 6 times, but I'm skeptical about the positive spin surrounding the box office. I get it, but you know what? At the end of the day, I believe what we're all hovering around is that this is a long game. It's a slow burn. We're going to see how this plays out. And once the streaming numbers come in, I think that we will see that they will have enough confidence to go in with a. And I think that it was widely expected that Amazon MGM was not going to do a movie if they couldn't do sequels. I think that was quoted by somebody. I can't remember who, but I think that was one of the conditions that they wanted the option to have.
I absolutely think that it is the smart play in this sort of landscape, this entertainment landscape in 2026, not to think you're going to do the one and done massive hit thing. That though, again, those days are over. I think the closest like big sort of revolution or learning point in Hollywood when it comes to box office and films was the MCU. And if you look at the MCU, 2008, when I went to go see Iron Man, there was not other people who were like, I want to go see Iron Man with you. There was me, the nerd, who loved the old 60s cartoon, Tony Stark, Man of Steel, and read comic books and had Secret Wars Iron Man and loved that thing. And I was like, dope, I want to see Iron Man on the big screen. Fast forward, and we saw like the MCU did something huge in that it wasn't one franchise. It was a bunch of smaller franchises tied together. I'm bringing that up now because when I look at what I saw in the movie theaters, and again, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but what Jay was sort of alluding to about what could happen next, I think there's a little bit of that sort of thinking about like, ooh, why is it just a Iron Man franchise? Why can't it be an Iron Man franchise and an Incredible Hulk franchise and a Captain America franchise and a Thor franchise? And then can they come together? And I think it's that kind of like out of the box thinking, like we got to stop thinking in terms of 80s, 90s, 2000s box office stuff. That said, to be real, financially, it's a very scary place to invest $200 million. Traditional box office, you want 2.5 times that to feel good with marketing and everything. So what is that? 500 million. Did I do that right? Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
And they're like barely crossing like 50 million. Like, no, I get that. That said, we're dealing with people, again, Amazon, MGM, who have way too much money. Like I go back to Rings of Power because what is he made on that? Like everyone's like, when I was hearing you, even JP say in the long term, they're going to make money. I actually don't know, because are they making money on new subscriptions to Prime? Because Prime's free. So like for most of us, who's going to be like, oh, I want to pay for Prime now because MOTU's here. I think there's something else. They're thinking about other revenue stream, and I don't fully have the answers. So I am hesitant to fully say it's a flop and therefore by the old guard, this is done. I am more like, I am really curious to see where they're going, because no one says I'm going to invest in an IP, do a full-on movie, do all the promotion that they've done, try and activate all these like youngsters through casting and social media stuff, just to be like, okay, that didn't work, we're done. Nah, I think I'm with you in that it's a long-term game. I don't 100% know if it's going to pay off, but I'm really excited to see it. And I'm hoping they're like, can we do this with Thundercats? For sure.
Yeah, exactly. So let's bring it around. Let's bring it around full circle again. Me personally, I do believe that Thundercats can, as I said earlier, if they can do freaking cats, they can do Thundercats. Yeah. And it really does need the right story. And it can't be on Earth. If it's on Earth, it will die on its feet. Like if they announce that in the byline, it's got to be on Earth. No, you forget it. Don't even bother. I think that it really does deserve the original storyline, in my opinion. I think they need to go with Exodus. They need to show how they become refugees on a strange planet, right? And they need to show what it's like to be a young person, pretty much exactly what we saw in Master Universe. And I'm not spoiling anything by saying that. Everybody knows that Adam is a young kid. I mean, there are so many commercials about that. I think you do need that moment. You do need that small flashbacks where he is a young kid, and then he has to become a young man really, really quickly, you know. And we need to see that progression as fast as possible. And we need to see his, you know, his surrogate family. We need to see how they all have to unify to each other to survive, you know, in such a strange environment, right?
I think the message story overall for Thundercats could be a very powerful one, especially in today's day and age where we're teaching, and it's true, we see it every day. Us parents, we see it. Our children are growing up in such a different way than we did, in the sense that they are so overexposed to elements that us as children, you know, for example, adult content, we would have to find like dad's stag mags hidden. You know, now the stuff is just everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, just anything, you know, world occurrences. Back in the day, we had to go to a library and look up things in the World Encyclopedia.
Sure.
So it's youth is growing up at such an exponential rate that it would totally align with Lionel's story, where he was a child forced to become an adult and lead a team of anthropomorphic cats to save, you know, the villagers and those who cannot help themselves from the powers of Mumra and the mutants and stuff. So I think it would be fantastic. It would be a perfect time, you know, if the writing is done correctly, if everything is done correctly, it would be amazing, an excellent message for viewers and for people of all ages, you know. But again, it's all about the execution. I think MOTU was very fan service driven. I think there was a lot of things, like I mentioned at the beginning, where a lot of the jokes just didn't land for me. They were just way too corny. The whole fisting, you know, sexual innuendo, that stuff was a little, I don't know why they put that in the movie.
That was in the movie?
Yeah, it was just.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I get
I'm
it.
so innocent. I am so innocent. I had no idea.
I get it that if we see the cartoons, the Filmation cartoons, you know, Adam was a pushover. You know, he was a coward. At some points, he was dumb. He was like the typical kind of like airhead blonde, whatever. But it's just when you transition it to real life, there's certain things that work and certain things that don't work. So I feel like there were just some things where they should have toned it down a little bit. You know, I just feel the jokes were way too, like, it just made it way too campy. And yes, the Filmation cartoon was campy, but that doesn't mean that a live action movie had to be campy. For example, I love the fact that Trapjaw wasn't cross-eyed. You know what I'm saying? Because in Filmation, every villain was cross-eyed, except for Skeletor. But you know, with Skeletor, it made sense when you know, like he makes fun of himself and that's my crescendo and all that stuff, like that landed. But you know, it's just the other jokes and I guess, what do you feel about the whole approach where they were making fun of how Adam gave these people names? It was almost like, I'm not Fisto, that's not my name. Like, so what is your name, dude? Like, that was kind of weird to me. What do you think?
The thing is that, you know, and we're gonna start moving on in a bit, but you know, and not too much in terms of like spoiler territory here, but I think for me, I didn't mind that so much because one thing about Master Universe Classics is we do know that they all have names, actual real names, right? So canonically, that makes sense. And I do understand the explanation of that. And you know, because there are things that years ago I used to just basically take for granted because that's how I formulated it in my head as a younger person, right? And then if someone had to explain to me, it's like, no, that's actually not what that is. You remember that wrong, right? It's the Mandela effect, right? That's how that came about. And actually, that explanation of it was actually kind of smart, right? Now, at the end of the day, you got to be kidding me. Why would anybody call themselves Fisto? Why would anybody call themselves Ram Man? I mean, like, you were literally talking about your superpower, and that's what you called yourself. yourself, right? I mean, it's pretty on point when you call yourself Superman, right? You're calling yourself Batman. Why? Because you're just like a bat, right? So at the end of the day, superheroes, the Flash, this is iteration Wonder Woman, you know what I mean? Like alliteration, you know what I mean? Like these are the things that were born out of the time, that they were written. But here's the thing: pop culture is such that we accept the things which people gravitate towards. Just let's just wrap this up since Brick.
Yeah, for sure.
Iron Man was a 10 level hero. He was not a level 1 hero. He was not a level 2 hero, right? In terms of popularity, he was like 10th on the pole. You know what I mean? He was like pretty far down the pole, right?
Very far down the comic sales as well.
Yes, he was not a popular hero. He was not, right? You know what I mean? But he was one of the original Avengers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And because of that, Jean Favreau saw something special, right? And the way he made that film, and let's just put it out there. The reason why Robert Downey Jr. is commanding the kind of money he is now is because he made the impossible happen. He made Iron Man fucking cool. Like that is impossible, dude. Seriously. After Iron Man came out, nobody, like, all of a sudden the MCU was born, right? Like prior to that, there was X-Men, which was it was fun. It was a fun ride. The Hugh Jackman's magnum opus or whatever it was.
Sure.
You had several other attempts. The Punisher. You had a whole bunch of television series that did not happen. You know what I mean? Blade was actually pretty good, and it was
but yes, like it didn't capture the mass appeal that Iron Man did. You're 100% right that Iron Man just hit in a way that like no one could have expected it, and it was quote unquote cool. It was funny. Yeah. It was kind of topical. I
think that's really what it ended up being. It was a relatable story. It was a guy who basically had everything. Everything was taken away from him. He realized that he was mortal, right? Yeah. He can't keep partying all his life, like throwing his life away. He found meaning in being treated like a piece of garbage. You're just a tool to be used, right? Like he realized that, right? And then he channeled that energy into something greater. Yeah. And I think that all of us can relate to that type of like riches to rags to riches story again. You know what I mean? To hero story, right? Yeah. And then of course, as you said,
still waiting for riches, but yes,
exactly. But as you said, at the time, right? Terrorism and this and that, and the themes were right? The timing was right. And you know what, Master of the Universe, it really is one of those things where they tried to make this for a younger audience. They tried to make it funny. They tried to make it more, in a lot of ways, they tried to make it more anime in a lot of ways, right? Because anime is all about jokes and all about like situations that you find yourself in, and just
big tonal shifts too.
Yes,
in anime.
Exactly.
Like it's just like, and you just roll with it. That's to JP's point about the names, just kind of roll with it. But on the joke, I will say on that, the whole naming thing, I wonder how that continues.
We are
eventually we're gonna be like, people are gonna have names. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna get a little weird.
Yeah,
if, like every single time
with villains though, you can see Skeletor just being an a-hole about it. It's like, oh, you're a merman. Oh,
for example, does Fisto now go around accepting people calling him Fisto? Just saying, like how does that work? But whatever, it doesn't matter because it's it actually doesn't matter because I am curious about let's talk about how we see it maybe rolling out with Thundercats, how it's going to be helpful or maybe not. Like, what are we thinking?
So you know what? Before we get into that, why don't we talk about Thundercats?
That's what I was going to say. So we have something coming up next month.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going, but Comic-Con is right around the corner, guys. So
wait, you're not going?
No, I can't.
Oh, come on, bro. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk. But anyways, the point is, we know that a little company named Mezco made an announcement.
Oh, okay.
So, aside from Super 7, we might have someone else stepping into the arena and showing some Thundercats goods. Also, Comic-Con tends to be a place where big projects are revealed.
Sure.
What if there is a top secret animation project in the works, and we can see some sort of trailer or something? Because here's the way I interpret things. Okay, Super 7 has been leading the pack with Thundercats for a good minute now. They gave us Cats Lair. They give us a shit ton of figures, right? 1,100 Lionos, 12,000 Mumras. But we also have Iron Studios in the ring doing awesome statues. We've got our friends at Mondo that have been tackling the 1/6 scale line. So far we've got 2 figures out the gate, Chitara, something else that hopefully gets revealed next month. And then
you gotta come, man. If it drops, you're gonna kick yourself. You're gonna kick yourself so hard. It's gonna be.
We'll have a sidebar conversation about that. But here's the thing. So, and now you got Mezco, right? So I feel like companies are not stupid. I feel like companies are privy to private conversations that are happening in the background. So what if Mezco caught wind that there is some other stuff rumbling with Thundercats, and they're like, hey, I think it's time that we tackle Thundercats in 1/12 Collective, because they have literally had the rights apparently to do Thundercats since they initially brought out the Frank Miller Batman, which was their introduction to the 1/12 Collective world. But for whatever reason, they decided not to do Thundercats. We all know that they did Thundercats way before Mattel or Super 7. They did the giant 15-inch jumbo figures, right? Which to this day, I'm holding my breath that they will one day say, hey, let's do the mutants. Because I would love to have, a Jackalman, a Slithe, a Vultureman in that scale to accompany my Thundercats. But having said that, I don't think Mezco is just gonna, oh, surprise, we're gonna do adjacent 1/12 Thundercats with soft goods just to challenge Super 7. Maybe there's something else behind that. So what if there's an animation, in the works? And with the whole discussion that we had initially, where how did I feel about a feature film happening with Thundercats, the likelihood, I feel like the better direction with Thundercats, because of the fact that Thundercats has not been championed by the original creators. MOTU has always belonged and has lived with Mattel. So they have taken that baby and grown it and watered it and given it sunlight and let its branches grow and let it expand to different groups and be seen by different age groups and stuff like that. Thundercats hasn't. Thundercats, what they have is us, the fans, supporting it, loving it, making it still relevant, letting companies know that it's still relevant, letting people still know that we love it, especially people, I love my Central American, my South Americans, that they just go above and beyond their parades and events, showing their love for Thundercats.
It's amazing.
But we don't get that from the Warners. We don't get that from, we don't get that from Rankin Bass or whatever's left of Rankin Bass.
Hey,
I guess because they're no longer around. Rankin Bass decided in the 80s, you know what, let's just make a quick buck and sell this to Warner Brothers or whoever they sold it to back then. And unfortunately, they didn't see that passion and love that Mattel saw for Master of the Universe. So it's a very different approach in the sense that we don't have a toy giant conglomerate that believes in the IP to the extent of Mattel believing in MOTU. Like Brian Flynn is not going to champion a Thundercats movie. You get me? He's just a licensee. So it's a very different ballgame. So I feel like Thundercats has to take a different approach. They have to go for a reboot in animation that's more akin to the 80s cartoon. Get away from the anime. We already had that. It was cool. If you want to do a season 2 after the new animation is a success, great. But do something that's more akin to the 80s cartoon, and then maybe try a live action. Because honestly, I feel like I would like a live action more, and I'll tell you why. I see that nowadays we're getting a lot more series than we're getting feature films. Perfect example is my all-time like huge love for God of War. I absolutely love the game.
Oh.
Played the first one. I've seen it evolve to what it is now with the father and son story and the older Kratos. But man, if you could take that approach with an IP that's so beloved and give it a lot more love, because when you do a feature film, you're basically condensing all this amazingness, all this narrative, all this story into 2.5 hours. Whereas in a series, you can give it 10 hours plus of love. You know, I feel like I would rather get that kind of exposure with Thundercats than a crammed up, sped up, you know, like just mishmash of content in a feature film. And you know, that's where I stand with what I see a future for, as far as the future of media and the evolution of Thundercats for media.
I'm with you. I like a lot of what you just said, because first off, I think you're right in terms of the history of the franchise and the way it's sort of been carried by Mattel versus what's happened with Thundercats. The only thing I might sort of like point out, it's not even to disagree with you, but I will say, because you're saying, okay, instead, what if, to bring back Thundercats, you started with a series or an animation, basically start smaller and let people really get to know and fall in love with this world, not just the fan base, but new people who are looking for that. What's that new, you know, cool thing to stream that's, you know, oh, fun sci-fi, but has maybe some old tie-ins to some stuff from the 80s, whatever. And so I could totally see that. I think that is absolutely the smarter play. And it I think flows with what I was saying earlier. Like the box office hit thing, I feel like is a thing of the past. And it's going to take a while for people to kind of recalibrate, Hollywood in particular, to recalibrate and figure out how they can sort of like build up to getting those large box office numbers again. That said, the thing I noticed though of what you said that might have been missing a little bit is that Masters of the Universe did the exact same thing. Like we can't jump from say 1987 or Filmation or whatever to now. We can't even go from there to Mike Young to motion picture. Like it took CGI cartoon, it took a Revelation mini series and a Revolution mini series, right? So like there have been starts and stops, and they have tried to nurture it in the way you're saying. And so I think maybe it's less about like they need to do something different from Mattel, but maybe they have to look at what Mattel did and give it that same shot. Maybe not the exact same way where they're gonna like have two competing things going at the same time, but really think about like, okay, if the world is all about streaming now and it's all about like getting that viral energy behind a thing and trying to get people to, you know, I'm thinking of things like Squid Game, right? And what a phenomenon that was. And everyone's like, what? There's this drama out of Korea, right? That has its roots. Like people are all watching this now. So if you think about like that kind of activity, or maybe even something on a smaller scale, I don't know. Have you guys seen Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix?
Yeah. That's amazing.
Fabulous animation that really hasn't penetrated in the same way that say K-pop Demon Hunters, right? Very different deal. But I'm with you on like wanting to see. I would love to actually. Yeah, you sold me. I would rather see an animated show, mainly because I think to get the costumes, the special effects to the point where like even I would want to watch it and it wouldn't look cheesy. I will say like even the MOTU movie, I struggled with the computer animation. That's just me. I just felt like it was a little too blue screen heavy. But dude, animation, that's the way to go. But really give it the love of I don't know. There's some great things out there. Like Dragon Prince is really great. Arcane is fantastic in terms of animation. Even Lucasfilm's latest animated show, which like usually I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but man, trying to go back and watch some of the old shows, like my kids on the other side here watching Rebels, and I sat down with them and I was like, man, I can't sit here and watch these when my action figures look way more interesting and cooler than the art direction of like what I'm seeing on the screen. They look like little clay people moving around. Like, so they need to step it up a little bit in terms of the animation, but give me even at this point, a mini series, kind of like a Revelation, maybe, right? Like 5 episodes, whatever, something shorter where they can really nail the story. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, we're definitely going to move on, but I will just put a bow on this one.
Okay.
I think that you're right. I think both of you are hitting it right on the nose. I think that they need additional media to enforce and basically bring people back to understanding what Thundercats is. I don't think enough people understand what Thundercats is. At least not enough of the general public really has a connection with Thundercats. Yeah. I think that Mass Universe, everyone at some point, because of the memes, as JP brought up in the beginning of this episode, the memes really have kept He-Man alive. Whether it's yes, until next time, right, or hey ya, right, like those things have actually become part of the lexicon of the meme culture, right?
Sure.
You really don't see Thundercats ho. I mean, it's there, right? Every now and then, someone's going to throw it up there, but a lot of the people are like, "What the hell is that?" Like they don't get it, right? Yep. There's not enough of that type of culture surrounding Thundercats to really get that recognition. So what we need is we need another series. And you know what? 2008 or was it 2009? 2012. Okay, 2012.
Excellent show.
We got close. And unfortunately, because of the way television was back then, it just did not.
The time slots. Yeah.
Right, it just did not hit. It got moved from time slot to time slot. And people just could not figure out, how to watch it consistently. And it never even got a proper Blu-ray or DVD release. To this day, it still has not really gotten anything. Same thing with Master Universe, though. This latest Master Universe Filmation release is going to be one of the most complete compendiums that's going to be available to fans. So, and even then, it's hard to watch Filmation. Again, if you thought the movie was campy, it's really hard to watch.
I can't watch it anymore. Just so you know, I can't.
There are a
and
handful
I love
of really
MOTU.
good episodes which everyone can always watch. But the reality is 2000X, which needs a new compendium.
Yeah,
that is something that really needs.
That's so. Yeah, that's so hard to find as well. It's frustrating.
It's impossible to find. It's impossible to find. I found season 1 here in Canada somewhere. Right, somebody had it at a toy store, the toy show that I was at. But that was I only saw season. I did not see season 2. You know what I mean? Like that was
limited edition, which was like I think it was like a Comic-Con exclusive. They only sold it there, and it came with all 3 Blu-rays, and it came in like a Castle Grayskull package.
Yes, the beautiful.
I had that, and it's one of my favorites.
You know so, what? Jay, can I ask you, where do you land on animated versus live action series?
Those are 2 different things. I mean,
right? I mean, what would you want to see? What do you think might work in 2026 for Thundercats?
To be perfectly honest with you, animation is the way to go initially. It really is. Live action, as much as I would like it to, it is a commitment, man. Here's there are 2 trains of thoughts on animation, on animation and live action. First of all, you need to have actors who are committed to have 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? To be able to just commit to 2 or 3 years of being on a show. And if they get opportunities later, they might just say no. I mean, look what happened with Henry Cavill. 100%. He was on The Witcher for like the 1st and 2nd season, and after that, he said, "No, I'm done." Right, and then you had to bring in one of the Hemsworths, right, which was fine, right. But the reality is, it takes you out of that moment. I mean, you get used to one actor, and then all of a sudden they have to bring somebody else in. Sometimes it happens. Harry Potter. Unfortunately, actors do move on; they pass away, right? So those are circumstances that also are possible. Whereas with animation, you can find different actors to replace other actors with very little. Some people don't even realize it. You know what I mean? Avatar is a really good example of that. Mako, he passed, before the final season, in the middle of the final season. But you know what? They did a good enough job that it was okay, and they even recognized it in the show.
Oh yeah,
incredible! I cried.
Beautiful. Me too. I remember seeing the Rest in Peace Mako.
Dude, I cried. I'm not even going to joke. I cried because he's always been a great actor.
I'm with you.
Right? Conan the Barbarian, RoboCop. was it Rising Sun? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's just a legendary actor in that right. But in terms of like how is it going to hit people? Kids love anime. Young
That's
people
where I'm going
love
to. Yep.
anime. Anime is the
Yep.
key, right? Hollywood is looking to anime for live action now, right? It will eventually. It's a natural progression. You know what I mean? So that's where I think it's gonna. That's where I think it's gonna be. You know
Well, if
what I
you
mean?
think about it, the original Rankin Bass is anime.
It
It
is
is.
100%.
It is.
There's
That's what made it so so iconic.
Miyazaki has roots. Studio
So
Studio
memorable.
Ghibli has Studio
all-
Ghibli just has roots in Rankin Bass. But sorry, go ahead, JP.
all of these, like G.I. Joe is anime. What's it called? Like
Yep.
people don't realize that, but it is, right?
Yep.
Some of the very early Superman, some of the very even Hanna-Barbera was outsourcing to Japan as well. Like a lot of companies were doing this. Filmation, I saw, ironically enough, was one of the only American-based animation studios for the longest time, and they held out for a long time before they had to, unfortunately fold up, just like so
Well,
many others, right?
I am
So-
so glad we landed on anime because, as I was saying, like times have changed. I work in high schools. I've got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, and I have seen, trust me, I tried to get my kids into the sort of things that I was into. But just by being in a public school in San Francisco, being exposed to what they're exposed to, they're all about the Demon Slayer, One Piece, right? Jujutsu Kaisen, even like Solo Leveling, which was Korean originally in their cartoon comics, but then anime in their animation. But dude, it's just like that's where the pop culture longevity and money is right now, and the rate at which young kids will inhale that stuff is it's wild. And the fandom, right, really talking about who these are. Now Thundercats is not a big property in Japan in particular, but what I guess where I'm going is you take the sensibility, maybe work with a studio who can really do quality animation, that is working, that is an Japanese animation studio, or even don't sleep on Donghua, Chinese animation. But I think that's the way to revive a property like Thundercats and really take that sensibility and think about like things like, man, I'm imagining like Frieren, like there are these great shonen and seinen like anime, the way they treat the main character that would work perfectly for Lion-O, 100%, and sort of him interacting with the team. And I just feel like if they're gonna sort of take that, use that lens by which to gauge like how do we grow or regrow or reintroduce the Thundercats, we look there. And again, the 2012 is a great template because that was very anime coded. They had Bandai making figures. I don't know. I think there's something there. That's what, and 100%. That's what I want to see. I want to see it on Netflix. Like let's
Or
go.
Amazon, Amazon. I mean,
Sure.
like, I could totally see, for example, Travis Knight taking on Thundercats because it looks like he's such a champion for 80s stuff. Like he did an awesome job with the Bumblebee movie. The Bumblebee movie is my favorite Transformers movie.
Me too.
It's so grounded in the 80s.
I was just watching it.
You know what I mean?
is.
Yeah, I watched that intro today.
It is.
And it's just it's just you could tell when there's love, and it's just crazy, But again, animation for sure. And then after that, I would say I would prefer a TV series just because I want more content. I don't
And
want.
do you mean live action TV series or animated TV?
I would like a live action.
Yeah,
I would like to go
it's just the money. That's what I
animation.
just wonder about,
Yeah,
the money involved.
It's
That's like HBO budget or
Yeah,
Amazon again. Amazon budget.
It's a really expensive endeavor. I mean, animation on that level is just much cheaper. Powerhouse Animation is doing some crazy things with animation right now. I mean, seriously, you just need the right story.
Have you all watched? Have either of you watched either One Piece anime? I guess first question, and then One Piece live action. Either one. Have you seen either one of those things?
I've seen both.
I've
seen both.
I've seen pieces of both.
Okay. The reason I ask is because that was something that I love the One Piece anime, totally caught up. Took a while, but the live action show, the love that they put into sort of translating that and thinking about how it might land in terms of live action was beautiful. And I'd love to see if they were to do a TV show, do something like that. The biggest reason though that works is because the creator was involved. And but I bring that up because the biggest barrier for One Piece to ever get like even a quarter of the way through the story of the anime in live action is money. Like, I don't want to totally spoil it for people, but there are special effects that are involved. The worlds that they go to are very, let's say, expansive and elaborate. Costume, like that is an expensive show. And I've heard from producers, right? Like Ted Biaselli was at MOTU Universe, is at WonderCon. I get to talk to him frequently. And I'm just like, dude, I love One Piece. It's great. And he's like, yeah, but it's really expensive. So if you even watch season 2, it ends in a way where if they ended the show, that could be fine. That could be it. And so like, I think that's probably the way they're going to approach it, because it really is a question, can we afford it? So that's my only thing with Thundercats is I would really love for it to look good. I really, I want to see it all. Like, it's not just the cats they need to pull off, right? It's of course the mutants, it's Mum-Ra, it's ships, it's space people, it's robot pirates, it's everything. And that's spending money. So
definitely. Really quickly, Snell, Amazon's looking forward to MOTU being on Amazon for the $24 rental or $30 buys. Yes.
Oh, I guess that's true. That is a thing. But I don't know how people do it, man. Because I'm just like, if I'm not going to see it in the theater in a big screen, then I'm not the person who pays for the rental. I wait till it's streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. I'll pay like the most I'll pay is probably like the $5 mark, but I won't pay $20 to watch at home.
Yeah.
I don't think it's justified.
Well, it depends. Again, younger people are different, though. Remember, that's us, right? So there are.
My kids better not be spending $24 to rent a movie.
Dude, I know people who spend $60 on freaking Uber just to eat. You know what I mean? I'm like one meal.
Getting old.
I'm like, are you crazy? Like that? That's insane. So it's not out of the realm.
Hey, we are all toy people, and I feel like you're trying to move us. But I want to go back to where Jorge was saying.
Okay.
The Mezco thing. I think you're right, and I would love to hear more about that. I've fallen off, and I need to get back on your channel and listen to what you've been saying around that, because I'm super excited about the idea of somebody else, getting the property, but freaking Mezco to sort of like see how they do it. I'm scared because it's not cheap stuff, but other than really great.
Super 7's not exactly cheap either. I mean,
no, but yeah, 100%.
Twice
double it. Yeah, double it. Like, right. So, I mean, that's unless they
get better articulation. You get, the new sculpts and everything.
What's funny about Mezco and Super 7, and I'll say this: being a Thundercats fan myself, I don't have expendable cash. There are 25 plus, maybe 30 figures from Super 7 Thundercats that I still don't own because they're so damn expensive. Now, with Mezco, I don't feel they're going to go down the rabbit hole as deep as Super 7 did. I think we're getting core mutants, core heroes, and that's all. That's all she wrote. Yeah. And I'm perfectly fine with it because we are going to get premium, top of the line articulation, accessories, and if we follow Mezco's track record, I can see a Lion-O, and we talked about this last year, earlier this year, where we were predicting what a Lion-O would look like, and I could see where we would get an all-in Lion-O that will feature all the looks that we need, all the accessories from all the episodes in just one pack. Instead of buying 15 Lion-Os, we just got to buy the Mezco Lion-O, and we're going to have everything. You know what I'm saying? So, they could do the lighter buy feature. They could do the cape being removable, the coronation head, all that in one pack versus, okay, you got coronation Lion-O, you got mirror Lion-O, you got this. I could see, maybe a mirror. Obviously, they have to reuse that body for a mirror Lion-O, but every other look is Lion-O in the same damn suit with just different expressions, different accessories. So I can see like this, almost like an absolute Lion-O coming from Mezco,
I mean, yeah, no, I totally get it. My thing is that again, I'm not really complaining, but my concern is that you're right. They're probably not going to go anywhere near as deep as Super Seven, but I would love to get some key figures, but hopefully in the same scale. I mean, right now they are shorter characters, Mezco. You know what I mean? They are closer to 1/6, whereas Thunder, like Super Seven is closer to 7 inches. You know what I mean? Like they are larger set characters. So it's definitely going to be one of those things that they have to at least make the core team. I at least need to get Lionel, Panthro, Chitara, Wily Kid, Wily Cat, Tigra, Pumaira, Bengali, and Linkso. You know what? I'm okay even with the original 5. You know what I mean? I'm okay with even that, right? And Snarf, right? But then I still I suppose I could live with the mutants because the mutants could have been bigger. You know what I mean? They could have been a little bit bigger. They could have been a little bit stronger. You never know, right? So I think I could live with that because the mutant sculpts have never been a problem for me. They've been freaking top notch. Whether it was Munkian, whether it was Jackalman, that slide is amazing from Super 7. You know what I mean? And of course Vultureman's looking pretty good. Rotaro looks pretty good. So one thing about Super 7, they do monsters really well. So I have no problems with their monsters, right? So if Mezco actually completes the original 5 and then moves on to the original 8, then I'll be pretty satisfied with that. And we'll see how it goes because I need a really good Chitara. I'm sorry, this just all things being equal, this Chitara is as fun as she is. She's not. She doesn't really. She's still. It's a very old sculpt. You know what I mean? It's a very very old sculpt, and she needs to be upgraded. And Mezco has the opportunity to do that. And I really hope that they can bring it to us. You know what I mean? I really hope. I got my fingers crossed that that's going to be a thing.
My only concern with Mezco is design. If we looked in the past where with the Marvel and DC offerings, it's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they try to take a little bit creative liberty and redesign costumes, and sometimes they stick to the core element and design. I hope that they're going to be sticking to the Rankin Bass look and not try to get experimental and give biker shorts and shit like that. Like, I really hope they can stick to that 80s aesthetic. And if they do, it's going to be like an instant hit. Like, it's going to be sold out everywhere. People are going to be like, take my money. You know what I mean? And even though Super 7 figures are slightly taller, the Thunder Tank, the Cats Lair, all these things that have been made already, they will work perfectly with Mezco scaled figures. So I'm not really concerned so much about the scale because Mezco's not 3 3/4, they're 1/12. So we're talking about maybe an inch shorter from Super 7. I'm okay.
Smaller heads, yeah.
And then they're gonna be able to pose insane.
The only thing that I don't know. I know, like you said, they've teased it. I wonder what that looks like because I was trying to rack my head and go back through the checklist of 112 Mezco 112 stuff. I don't know. Do they have like a hairy body at all, a furry body? Because I couldn't think of one.
I've never seen one.
Right.
I don't know if they made a beast in Marvel. I don't think they've made a beast.
The reason I ask is because, on the one hand, it's like, oh, well, they have smaller figures for the cats. They have, larger bodies that they could use for the main team. But they don't have the fur, right? They don't have even so maybe they can get away with just a little bit of hinting at fur on maybe a bicep or something and just tool up a bicep. Otherwise, they're tooling this thing from the ground up and it's not a cheap, it's going to be expensive. And so I wonder if they have the wherewithal to really be okay, we're going to do Thundercats and really invest in doing the entire team the way they've done Turtles, right? That turtle set is dope, but that's also because you can pretty much use a lot of the same parts across all 4 turtles and then reprint those dudes over and over, right? And
I can see, for example, thinking as a designer now, putting on that hat, I can see Tigra and Lionel using the same bucks. Panthro would need to be slightly stockier and a tad shorter. And then obviously Chitara is a female. So I cannot see like what they've done with MMPR or Turtles. Because some people have been like, oh, what if they do like a team core pack? That's not going to make sense because one, it's going to be so expensive. There's going to be so many different bucks that they have to create for it. So I think I'd rather get them one at a time. What I would love to see is like Lion-O and like 3 months later, Mumra. And then just after that, start trickling them out. Panthro, Chitara, you know what I'm saying? Monkey. Keep it consistent where you got a hero and a villain. A hero and a villain. Don't just go crazy taking out all the heroes because then you kind of lose that balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The problem is, somebody mentioned Planet of the Apes, Mezco, and those were good, but like Planet of the Apes are kind of head to toe clothes, so their bodies can just be smooth, non-furry bodies underneath. Anyway, it's exciting, but I mean, I know
if we look at it from the furry sense, that could be a creative approach from Mezco because that was a creative approach that Mondo took. Our Thundercats figures have never had sculpted fur from the original LGN. So that's something that Mondo started exploring with. And I'll be okay with a slight indication of fur, like on a shoulder or something, and on a forearm, but not to the extent that Mondo did it with their Lion-O, for example. I think it was like over furry, if that's like, I'll just coin that phrase, over furry. And I don't think we need that. I think we need more of a smooth base body. Like more like that, more like a walk. That would work for me, but not so detailed. But again, even if we don't do the fur, it'll work. I think the main thing is for them to stick to the classic aesthetic. Don't experiment.
Design's interesting. So you'd be good with a smooth body. Yeah, I guess you're right. The toys generally don't have
experiment, them. Please don't experiment armor sets.
Yeah.
I have to give the example of the Mondo Chitara. I think that was way too exploratory, way too distant from the original core design of Chitara's suit. It's too busy. It's just too much going on in her costume. So I feel like they need to just keep to the simplicity.
The design, the lines and texture, not textures, but more so the lines on her leotard.
Yeah. Really, they need to really nail the head portraits. Nail the head portraits, nail the articulation, the range of motion, nail the accessories, and you got a winning combo,
Yeah. Okay, so
story scene.
We shall see. We shall see what Mezco will have to offer us. It's going to be very interesting. Hopefully we'll see that at SDCC. And again, I'm going to be talking to you, JP, about that because if you miss an announcement, I'm going to kill you. Anyway,
I've been waiting for it for 3 years, so I don't know.
I know that's what I'm saying. You got it. Anyway, I've been seeing a lot of questions about this on the chat because this is an interesting question. So this is literally. And I don't know if we can call this Wave 16. Like, what do we call this? Right? This is a bundle pack, which is based off of one single episode. Literally, it literally says episode 3 Burbles. It is literally a package which is based off of a single episode. Now, mind you, it was a great episode. Okay, and it really sets up how the Thundercats are able to survive on Third Earth. And it comes with a lot of things which I've been asking for forever. I mean, like right when the Burbles were first announced, I was always like, "Where's the candy fruit? Where's some of the other things that should come with these Burbles, right?" And now Super 7 has decided to put that together. But there's a big question looming over a lot of collectors' heads. Why is this $150? That seems to be a big question, mainly because these characters have already been made. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be a very similar Lion-O, which we already have. We already have Robert Bill, right? So where's Robert Bell, right? So there's a lot of people asking that question, and the accessories themselves the ones that are really the most impressive to me again are the buns and the candy fruit.
Candy fruit.
And of course the insects, which eventually turn into Mumra, right? The locusts.
Not the soft goods rope.
Is there soft goods on this?
It's a
Not
soft-
necessary.
That was funny. That was
The
something
rope.
that was brought up on my Instagram, where they were like, "Oh, I'm not going to pay $150 for a statue of Lion-O wrapped in." I'm like, dude, that's not a statue. If you look at the description, it says soft goods rope.
Yeah.
This is basically a render, and then if you look at the picture where he's being captured, that's a render as well. It's gonna come with soft goods rope and a fully articulated Lion-O. It's like I'm with Jay on this one. 150. You think about the figures; these figures retail $65 average per figure. So if we were looking at it that way, the way Marvel Legends does their multi-packs, you would multiply 65 times 3. That's way over $180. So they are in a way justifying the fact that these are reels, because if not, this would be a $200 3-pack. And you know, it's one of these things where I think this might be the next step of evolution for where Super 7 wants to take the figures, where instead of giving us number 25 Lion-O, they're going to give us Lion-O wrapped with ropes, or, you know, Lion-O in another kind of situation.
Some kind of scene
some
with other characters.
Right. My question is more like, how are these going to be packed? Are they going to look like, it would be great ideas. Like if the packaging is like a TV screen. So you're basically looking at an episode versus just a standard run-of-the-mill box in black. You know what I mean?
I can't get over the feeling, and this is what kind of, and you know, people are gonna love what I say, or they're gonna hate what I say, but this feels like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive to me.
It does.
I don't know.
It feels like a set that you'd get as an exclusive.
Yeah.
It
feels to me like why did this have to be a retail release? Because this is one of those things where you should do a take it or leave it situation. If you want it, you buy it at SDCC. If you don't want it, then you leave it alone, right? And then you sell each figure individually, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense to me. Right?
I'm with you, especially since we have gotten these. If that is in fact, it's a question mark. It is a question mark, and they haven't just come out and said so. But if that's just another Lion-O, meaning it doesn't have the ropes and all that stuff molded in, and then it's just burbles that we've gotten with new accessories. That's effectively what we're thinking, right? At this point, that these are burbles we've had. I actually, if anyone was like, why is it so expensive? Like, I think earlier you framed it like Jay saying that people are wondering why it's so expensive when it's all reused. I mean, that's just how toys are made. You try and recoup your costs by reusing the bodies. And so you don't necessarily go like, oh, well, this is an old thing, so we're going to make it really cheap. Like, that's just, I've never seen that happen, period. Like, if you buy an AWOC figure, we're using the same body. We don't make the next way of using that same body cheaper just because you're reusing it.
And I totally get that.
Yeah.
As
So
you said,
on that note, I look at this and I go, it's not a bad price to me, knowing that each of these are $55 or whatever. The problem is we've seen this. Like what we haven't seen is maybe the accessories, right? So I'm 100% with Jay. Like, this is like an event thing where you're like, oh, isn't that cool for like some deep cut reference to an episode? Let me get that. Like, that's fine. But we've like effectively, if you've been collecting this stuff, you have a burble. You have multiple burbles. You have multiple Lion-Os at this point. So why would I buy this? And it is, I would buy this if it was an exclusive thing and I was trying to be completist.
my other issue is the fire is missing its freaking flame effect. Is that on purpose, or is that something that we're missing? Because the
Fire?
that torch. Oh, it's not a torch.
It's not a torch.
No.
It's a thing.
Dart.
Okay, a
Blow dart?
Blow dart.
Yeah, dart gun or whatever.
Yeah, when it's just sitting up like
Sorry,
that,
we
I
got
thought it was a torch. Right.
I mean, it's a weird one for sure. And I more so look at this and go like, because, you know, we've been paying attention to what's been happening in Super 7. They've laid off a bunch of creatives. They still have this license. They still have the Godzilla license, right? So they've got some things still in existence that, but things are changing at the company, right? So to me, I look at like I remember when they started doing the pack-ins. If you ordered the entire wave, you get these pack-ins. That to me is a marketing pitch, right? Like we are trying to entice more people to buy from us directly. That's what they want. That's like a, hey, we need to drum up interest and pre-order sales on our figures. So that was one way. Like, I don't know if they're thinking that maybe this is the way to get people more into like buying a thing. Again, I think it's weird that it's not some kind of event exclusive. I just don't know who's like in the market necessarily to buy figures they've already gotten, even if it's at a like what $10 price break for each one or whatever. If it is in fact just the figure with ropes, then it makes it even like kind of like less interesting. I can just get ropes and do this to the Linos I have, right?
Yeah, you can go to Michael's and just buy it.
So I don't get this in the conventional sense, and I just wonder, and I don't know, I have no inside information. I just wonder if this is like us seeing them really trying to figure out how to keep selling more figures. Yeah. And not have it at the clearance prices.
That's the way
I think they're just trying to figure it
out. And that I'm hoping that creatively they will go the route of, like I said, giving us like an incentivized bonus by making a unique package. That's a great opportunity that they have, similar to what Marvel Legends is going to do with the Spider-Man 3-pack at Comic-Con. I absolutely love that 1966 Spider-Man 3-pack. That it looks like an old TV set from back in that era. It would be great just to have that 80s style TV, and you got the window box, and there you have the figures. You know what I'm saying? Versus the standard run-of-the-mill black box. They got rid of the sleeves. They just got the big Thundercat logo on it. Like, make it unique so that people are like, oh, okay. Because honestly, if I buy this, I'm not opening it. It's just going to sit in package just to say, oh, I got this episode representative scene. I don't need any of this stuff. I don't. Because what am I going to do? I don't sit down and play with the toys. I'm not going to get, oh, look, I got candy fruit and play with Smurf and stuff like that.
I've already got 50 freaking claw shields. I already got 200 freaking mini sword daggers.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
well, that's the biggest problem with this, Jorge. I hear you on like having a cool box or whatever, but is that really enough to sell it? Even with the SDCC one, like I don't think have we had a Spider-Man 66 or 60, whatever it is?
It's coming out this year. Hasbro showed it, and it looks amazing.
But no, I mean, so they're gonna use the stuff that they are doing from the SDCC and release it as a single one. Is that what you mean, or are you talking about the SDCC?
SDCC, it has an exclusive, which is Spider-Man from 1966.
No, that's my point. Is that's the first time you've seen that figure?
Absolutely, yes. 100%.
So, like, just putting a box on 3 figures that we've already sold and seen doesn't. That's what I'm just saying. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't just
add up in my brain.
Which is why I said it's an SDCC exclusive, right? Or some sort of convention exclusive. It should be.
I don't get it, honestly. I hate to say it because I'm not like I moved here in San Francisco. Super 7 was just starting. I've had a history with that brand. I love it. But I also sort of see them floundering a little bit, trying to figure out what's what.
What if this was an SDCC 2026 and they
changed their mind?
Yeah, they pivoted.
Have they pivoted to something else yet?
Well, look at what happened last year where what was it that year? There was like that the exclusives were supposed to be the light up Mumra and Lion-O, but they couldn't get them in time for Comic-Con, so they made it a pre-order, and then they shipped, I think, like fourth quarter last year. So the only thing they actually had on hand was that vintage style Mumra cardboard playset, which that was really cool. And I wish they would have done that with the Ultimates, not with that vintage style stuff.
Yeah. But, you're probably It's even questionable if they're even going to be at SDCC, right? Because last year you were there, Jorge. They didn't have much of a presence last year. It was a backdrop, and that was pretty much it.
They only had the event at their store, right?
Yeah, that was the big.
Don't have a store anymore,
right?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm trying to say. Like where are they spending their marketing dollars? And I think that that's the important thing, right? They have to really be very careful about what they're doing. And I understand that. The thing is that this particular set, I'm not sure collectors are going to be inclined to pick it up. If you are somebody who has to have everything, then yeah, you're definitely going to get this no matter what. But as a collector and the economy that it is right now, it's hard to justify $150 for a few buns, some candy fruit, and a couple of wasps. You know,
you two are some of the biggest Thundercats fans I know. You both have a Cat's Lair from Super 7, right?
Yes.
And a Thunder Tank. You both have a Thunder Tank.
Thundercats right below it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you: are you guys going to pick this up?
I will eventually pick it up.
I too will probably eventually pick it up.
Right.
It's gonna be one of those ones which.
But like I said, he'll be on ice. I will never open it because there's no need for me to open it.
I agree. Like,
it's not that thing that's super enticing. That's why I do wonder where they're going. And
it also has to have a box.
I'm not a doom and gloom guy. Like I'm really not. I want them to do
have
it.
the right box too.
What would have been a great missed opportunity right here? Excellent missed opportunity. Would have been a Lion-O going like this. Oh, like he's just captured, like a brand new expression.
Mm-hmm.
I think that by itself, people will be like, "Oh shit, we got a meme moment, Lion-O." You know what I'm saying? And like that would really.
100%.
No, you're right. You're right.
It needs something new.
Give me a reason to buy it.
Because let me just say, if they let's say we're wrong, and that's some of that stuff is molded, making it a unique figure. One, what a waste of tooling. Two, it's bottom line is what you said. 100%. Use this as an opportunity to do an expressions pack. Every collector who already has a Lion-O will buy this set. Period. Right? Give them two expressions, not the normal one you already have. Done. People are like, oh damn it, I want those two heads.
Absolutely, it's exactly like what and you know what, they should do this anyway because they've been using that to entice, like, go from your own playbook. You've been using those like extra heads to entice people to buy directly from you anyway.
It's right. Yeah.
So you know what, like continue with that. Sure. Give up 3 additional heads, right? Like you've always been doing with these wave releases. Have Lion-O do something, or you know, have some really crazy expressions, because I think we're all tired of the growling, snarling face and the free. You know what? Have him be happy. One of the things that we've never seen, like very rarely, we see any of these. And the thing is, the Thundercats are happy people. You know what I mean? They're always smiling at the end of every episode. They're always laughing. Give him the freaking Adam laugh. You know what I mean? Like you know, because that's they do it, just not as animated. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I think is right.
I agree. That's a missed opportunity. A grinning face and a startled face from being captured. So you got one from the beginning and one for the end result where they become friends. So it's just like that tells a story on its own.
It does.
You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you know what I would love? The intro that was like very, you know, they spend more time on the introduction animation, very anime, where his hair is extra big.
Yeah.
Where he's holding the sword.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, way more than candy fruit. Like, oh my god,
yeah,
I want that look.
If you remember when he first in Exodus, when he first gets a hold of the sword again, remember how his hair just goes, it goes like shocked, right? Because it's trying to remind him of his destiny, right? Yeah. So there's another really good one. Look,
could we move on to a different toy, because it's making me sad? So come on, guys.
I wanted to mention, and Jay, I don't know if you were planning on talking about this, but
sure.
So the new wave with Wizra is shipping right now.
Yes. It is.
So what that means, according to Entertainment Earth, there are a few Super 7 pre-orders coming up. So I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing the next wave coming up really soon, because that's how Super 7 tends to do things. Once the latest wave ships, they reveal the next pre-sale, which they're now pre-sales because we get them 3 months down the line. So any predictions for the next wave?
Yeah. That's actually a really good way of wrapping it up, because you know, we are sort of going way over time tonight, but it's fine.
It's okay. We haven't streamed in 3 months.
I know, right?
was gonna say I missed you guys. I got excited seeing you guys.
Catch up episode.
So, Brick, what are your thoughts? I mean, we still have a ton of characters left to go. I mean, like the Thundercats never really stop. But I know one that people have already mentioned in the chat and stuff. But Brick, which characters?
Oh God, I'm terrible. I can't even play this game with you guys because I have not collected Super 7 Thundercats, so I don't know what's been made or not. But
okay, well,
like,
I mean,
Hachiman's already been made. Like I'm just trying to think of some of the folks, but
Hachiman's been made.
You guys do it. Let you guys do it.
Hachiman is sold out. He's no longer available. So he's become one of those.
He's archived.
Harder to find, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll let JP go last because
I defer to you guys.
Yeah.
So I will say, and it's just a broken record. Driller. We need driller. We need a driller.
Oh.
We need a driller. We
That's the guy like literally a drill body, lower body, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he never had.
They never made him, huh?
He never had legs. No, they
Yeah.
made him in LJN. LJN.
Yeah, they made a vintage one.
No, I mean,
No.
Super 7.
No,
Super 7.
Not yet.
That'd be cool.
We need a driller. We 100%. I want so here are the things. The deeper cuts that are going to happen now are going to be things that are still relevant to the earlier episodes, but still at the same time we never really got them. So I really want to see an inflamer, both the fully powered version and the decrepit version. I like that has to be together because the inflamer. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's a character which has only shown up in a handful of episodes, but his impact for me was pretty good. I mean, like, if it wasn't for him, the sword would still be broken. You know what I mean? There's a lot of reasons why the inflamer is actually a really good character to have, right? You could talk about the mole man. He was actually in a handful of episodes. He's been pretty sinister himself. You know what I mean? The whole Jackalman's Rebellion. That whole episode was really cool and actually showcased many of those characters as they were. Here's a deeper cut that I'm not sure, but because we have quick pick, I think it really is sort of appropriate. We need everybody who escaped from Mandora's jail container, right? What were their names, JP? We had.
Are you talking about Plutar?
Yeah, there's Plutar. That's right. Who should come with the ooze? He should come with this, even if it's just a tiny bit of ooze. He should come with the ooze. You know what I mean? Plutar is definitely that. And what was the name of the vacuum guy? He was just this robot, but he was more like a vacuum cleaner, right? He's just
trying to think.
Let me check. Let me check Mandora Evil Chaser. But how about you? Why don't you name off a couple? Because
my wish list for the next wave includes one of the characters that I've been asking for from the very beginning. I want a Demolisher figure really bad. I think he's awesome. And Demolisher with his little armadillo kind of little grunt that follows him around and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Demolisher. We need Tugmug to finish.
Oh, yeah.
Off the team.
Yeah.
We need new cats. So Tigra 2.0 with Cave of Time head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Accessories. He could come with from that episode where he was in the trance from the flowers. Remember, I think it was Mumra.
Silky.
There you go. Come with the silky accessory, Cave of Time head, new updated body, and as far as another good guy, I would like Tumargar, the Tuska.
Oh yeah, Tumargar. Yeah, Tumargar would be good.
Great. So yeah, I think that would
was that they made that in LJN, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, they did him, but it was called the Tuska.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, green costume.
Yeah,
they haven't done that yet in Super 7, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what they could do Tumargar, and then that's a brilliant idea to reuse that body and then do a Tuska Warrior that's like an army builder. So
Sure.
they could
Just like what they did with Slive. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. That was Tigra, Demolisher. Yeah, that's 4. I think
When
that
you said Tugmug, is that one of the Lunatics?
Yes, he's one
he's
of
a
them.
big fat.
Big one. Yeah. Okay, got it.
But there's also been that one that fans have been asking for a while. Actually, he ended up being the number one ask that has still never been released. Right? You did a poll, JP. I remember it was one of the number one figure that the people were requesting, and it surprised you. Right?
Surprisingly, yeah, the one that that was because of the selections that I had provided. The number one choice for fans was Mumra in the Excalibur armor,
Which was shocking. And then let's not forget about the Berserkers, right?
love that.
The Berserkers still also because
top spinner.
once you put in Cruncher, you have to do Twister, right? You have to do you have to do all this.
Another one that I don't remember. I think he had treads, like tank treads or something. I would love, speaking of the Berserkers, I would love to see the pre-cyborg Berserkers. Like I would love to see the pirate Hammerhand before he became like that cybernetic.
Yeah, before they well, I think he was always cybernetic, wasn't he? Like
no, there was like when you first meet the Berserkers, they're like on a pirate ship, and if you look at it, even if you go back and you go to Nate Birch's Instagram page, he showed his early concept art for Super 7 for Hammerhand, and you could see that pirate Hammerhand head, which is completely organic. It's just him in a beard. There's no like metallic, there's no helmet. It was super cool. And it was because I got to go back and rewatch, but I think something happened to them where I think they perished, and then they came back as half human, half cyborg.
The Thundercats drowned them. That's
There you go. So
they were attacking. So they were attacking the Unicorn Village, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Hammerhand still had a Hammerhand, but it was very small. It was like a regular hand, but it was just coated. It was just like a glove.
Kind of like Fisto.
Yeah, exactly, kind of like Fisto. But even smaller than Fisto, really. Yeah. And he had a cloak. He had a cloth. He had a helmet, but it was like just a regular helmet with a cloth backer, right? And he had a patch, just an eye patch. That's it, right? And all of his crew were humans, as far as from what I remember. So yeah, no, I totally know where you're coming from with that. But and what about the Bubbler? You know what I mean? Like I think the Bubbler is definitely another character which people have been.
The Mad Bubbler, of course, that would be like a beast / small vehicle. So that would probably be, like a $75, $80, piece.
Thundercats vehicles are not cheap.
No,
it's tricky, man. Look, I would love to have the Sky Cutter right now, and I can't. I can't justify a $200 purchase right now for a Sky Cutter.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. But you know what? We're gonna see who makes the cut in this next round. I could totally see, obviously Tugmug. I could totally see him rounding out the final Lunatac.
That was
quick too. The Lunatics came pretty quick. If they
it was like one after another.
Yeah,
it really did. Yeah. I was shocked how Luna and Amok actually came out so quickly. You know what I mean? And they did that one so well. So I'm really really impressed on that level. But yeah, I mean, like, I think the most of the mutants are finished. Like I said, there's only another handful of them that are.
I mean, pretty much they're done, except for there's like ancillary villains now. But the core mutants are pretty much done.
Yeah. So
some of my favorite figures from that line were the other Slithe's other like people, the sort of
Yeah.
Oh, the reptilians.
Yeah, the reptilians. Did they ever do any like the jackals and the monk? They did.
Only reptilians.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
I think
love
the
that.
reptilians didn't sell as well as they expected, so they're
Wow.
probably not going to do.
Which is too bad because they were excellent. They
I
were.
grabbed two of them, two different ones. They were
Yeah,
great.
I have two different ones. As
I'm,
well.
I'm hoping to be able to collect them as well because honestly, they are excellent, right? And I would have loved to see jackals and Munkians, and you know what I mean. I would have loved to see that, but it is one of those things which is very very difficult at this point.
One thing that I want to mention before we go, because I think it's very mention worthy. I don't know, UJ or Brick, if you've gotten any of the Mondo 2000X 112 figures yet, but dude, that He-Man and that Clawful, if they were to take that formula and incorporate it with Thundercats, oh my god, dude, like the way that He-Man moves, oh my god.
I love those, and I would actually love to see them do the same thing. So they took 2000X and they're like, we're going to do our Mondo versions of them in 112. I want to see them do the exact same thing with a 2012. Like, let Super 7 do the classic stuff. Say, we're doing 2012, but we're doing it Armando style and going to try and give it our art direction that'll tie it all together. I think that would be nice.
That's pretty badass. Although, I don't know if you knew, Brick, but Brian pretty much confirmed that they are doing
that. They're doing it too. I heard that on yours, but I was like,
what if the next wave is our introduction to that? Maybe we get 2012 Lion-O mixed in with Rankin Bass villains.
That would be so cool, honestly.
You know? It'd be interesting for sure. I think I'm a little bit out on Ultimates right now. Super 7 Ultimates.
I would kill for a Snow Meow though. I would kill for Snow Meow. Like
a hard sell.
It is a hard
really hard sell.
It is a hard sell. But so is a Sky Cutter, and so is a cartoon version of freaking a Thunder Tank. I mean, those are really hard sells. You know what I mean? Like I'm waiting for that thing to. I'm waiting for Amazon to have a price drop on that.
They did at one point. The animated Thunder Tank was like $339.
Still, that's not enough for me, man.
What are you gonna do with it, Jay? You're gonna put it on top of your other one?
Yeah, dude. I'm just gonna stack them on top of each other, bro. Like seriously.
One thing that I think was
what I really want is the Panthro. That's actually what I really want. I really want that Panthro.
Well, you know, speaking of that Panthro,
that was a great one.
I hope that we eventually get him in the DX line, you know, because it's just, I think Brian said that that's the only way, but I find that highly difficult to believe because nobody that already had the Thunder Tank and dished out the $500, $600 for that Thunder Tank, they're not all going to be able to buy another Thunder Tank all again just to get an exclusive Panthro. So I feel like we're eventually going to see that Panthro later down the line. There might be some modifications to it. But what I'm also hoping is that we're going to see that body reused with a whole new head, whole new armor set for a Rankin Bass, more animation-centric Panthro. Because we need a pinless Panthro. We don't have one. So I feel like that's probably the next thing we'll see. Rather than Tigra, we'll probably see a Panthro. I guess this one will be 3.0 because they already did a 2.0. Which was the original one was Mattel. 2.0 was Super 7's, the one that came with a key and all that stuff, and the new head. So I think this would be Panthro 3.0, and that one would be cool. And they have a lot of opportunities. They could put the lightning bat that Safari Joe used to scare Panthro as an accessory. They could do the evil Panthro, although that would be tricky because the evil Panthro is a different color. So giving him a different color head that doesn't match up with the rest of the body would be kind of like a stupid thing. Yeah. But once they get the regular Panthro out, they could easily just be like, hey, evil Panthro, and it glows in the dark, and people will buy it, you know. So it's tricky, man. You know, with the economy and everything right now, it really is tricky to figure out how to re-release and rebrand and all that.
I say that I'm out on Ultimates, but when you said Deluxe Panther, I was like, "Oh, I could go for that with a new pinless body." I would probably be in for that.
Yeah.
All right, Rick. Thanks for joining us, brother. It's always great to have you hang out with
Yeah,
us.
man, it was
Thanks
awesome.
for having me, man. I miss you both. I've been able to see Mega J quite a bit in real life, even. But yeah, it's good to hang out. I'm on spring break summer break. I've got 2 months of just a little bit of rebuilding.
Are you
after this year.
going to make it to SDCC this year? Or
Yeah, you ask me that all the time, and I am not. I struggle with going down SDCC, man. It is if it's expensive, even though I live in the state, finding a place to stay is the biggest challenge, and then getting to the convention area every day. Like I could probably get passes through friends, like that's not an issue, but it's like staying, and the days of like crashing on someone's couch are just everybody's got families. It's just very different now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
you got to tell us ahead of time, because what we've been doing lately is just getting an Airbnb for a whole bunch of us, right? And and we just do a thing,
and it works out, huh?
It does. Like Danny sometimes sleeps with me. You never know, but
you got room on the couch? I don't know. I consider it. I'm not doing anything. What is that? July, like 15th or something?
It's either the second last weekend of July or the last weekend of July. It's one of the
20th. Whatever. If there's a place to stay, that's a completely different deal. You're right. I should have talked to you earlier. I didn't realize that's how you guys are all doing it. But hotels are ridiculous. Even getting to and from.
Oh yeah.
If you got to deal with parking or whatever, unless you're like by a train line, it's a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. There's room in the floor.
Well, that we'll talk about it at the end of the day.
Okay.
Brick, what are you up to, and how can people reach you?
Oh, geez. So I have been doing a little bit more streaming because I am on summer break, so I teach folks. But Sundays, 3:45, I do a thing called the Brick Something News. It stands for the needless ephemera we saw, because there's all sorts of cool stuff we're seeing toy related on the internet. And it's me and a guest just kind of talking about all sorts of cool stuff, usually around indie toys, like those made by our friend Jorge over here. Look out for From the Realm, folks. It's coming. So look out for that. So it's Sundays, and then I've been doing a Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific as well. So that should be happening in 2 days as well. But that's the main thing. That's it.
It's never it. JP, what are you up to, and how can people reach you?
From the Realm. I've been living, breathing, sleeping From the Realm, and
love it.
It's a lot. There's a lot because I've been pretty much taking things by the reins. A lot of my collaborators have been busy with their personal stuff, their family stuff. But Kickstarter is on track for future launch. It's going to be very, very soon after the summer. So right now I'm just working on finalizing all the SKUs, getting all the product showcases, the imagery. We're working on paint masters. There's a lot of motion going on behind the scenes with the project, and I'm super excited. I think finally this thing is happening this year.
Woo!
Awesome.
Some great figures, man.
Absolutely.
Telling you, keep an eye to the indies.
Yeah, it's coming, guys. It's coming. Last comments before we log off, everybody. The Sky Scudder's price is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It does transform, though. So
you did some shopping.
There is that. You don't want to make me angry. Got the Panther with the Thunder Tag on sale. Congratulations, brother. That is always a good thing.
And great picture and great name.
Hector Cesares, Brick. Grand 460. Finish the cast and characters, then introduce new stuff. It's like Rome. When in Rome, my friends. When in Rome. Well, guys, thank you so much. It's been a while since we streamed, but we are glad to be back. And please check out Thundercats Classics on Instagram. Please check out Brick Something on Instagram as well as on YouTube. And, of course, please subscribe to Thundercats Lair here on YouTube. We're planning on doing more episodes, but at the end of the day, we just want to hang out with you guys, have fun, and and talk about everything Thundercats related. Thank you guys again for always joining us. I want to thank my good friends Brick Something and JP of Thundercats Classics for joining us tonight. And don't forget, guys, San Diego Comic-Con is coming up soon. A lot more announcements coming very, very soon for some crazy things. We're hoping that Mezco will drop a hint here or there or make some actual announcements about the show. And I am hoping that Mondo will actually showcase something very, very special this year. And I'm really going to try and get JP over there because I think that it will be this year. So I'm hoping for the best. Guys, thank you so much for everything. And we hope to see you guys soon. As always, guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey, everybody. And ye proud animal warriors of the kingdom.
Oh,
Actually, that's right. 3, 2, 1.
Thunder. 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 Thunder.
Oh! Good night, everybody.